All right. I think it is streaming. So,
I'm Tim.
I'm Jane.
I'm Kevin.
and I'm TJ, and we
we
are
are
the
the
Table
Table
Candle. And welcome to the
back
fifth.
to the fifth realm.
Oh yeah, welcome back to the Fifth Realm. And I know that those who are like watching diligently or like rewatching, we are not professional. That was like the first time we actually did that professionally. And just remember,
Every now and then we get it professionally done.
it's true. Just like anything.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice does make perfect. Which in reality I should be mentioning, if you are 12 years or younger, get the hell out of here. If you're 13 years or older, you're welcome. Fuck you. No, seriously. We are now into the new decade.
Whoop whoop.
Because the previous one was on the previous decade. Now we're in 2020. Welcome to the new decade. COPPA is now officially in session in YouTube. So, fuck you for another second measure because we do not advertise to kids. This is for teenagers and above. Hello. Welcome to the Fifth Realm and Ringmaster, which is
episode.
the halfway point, actually, if I think correctly. Is it?
Let's see, this is
For this
episode
season?
number 6.
This is episode 6, and we
I don't think it's quite halfway.
I don't think we're quite halfway yet because, and it doesn't matter. Ringmaster,
But we're close.
and where we left off was, and I wish to quickly make an apology for those who who watched through, Sideshow, which was the previous episode. At the very end, I was a little bit rude to Jane, and I wish to apologize for that.
Thank you.
That was very uncalled for of me, and I apologize to you. I still think that your character hasn't really been in contact, but I'd say we just have your character be very highly regarded and is a free agent that you're able to get the money. So, I apologize for the way I acted.
Thank
All right? So,
All right, let's get on with it.
let's get on with it.
Where you start out, where we start out, you are back at Zoltan's house.
We have found Shepard.
You have found Shepard, and you have found Little Raz. But Little Raz did not have a good time gambling.
No.
She lost all of her money, and then she had the gambling bug really dug its talons deep into her, and she just knew she could get all her money back and more by betting the Scarecrow, and she lost the Scarecrow.
Oh no!
So Raz comes back empty of everything. She was totally cleaned out, and sorrow lived up to its name for our little gambler Raz.
Shepard's just looking at Raz and just goes, "You lost the Scarecrow."
She lost everything.
Yeah.
Something to hide my.
Where's your needle?
She kept needle.
No, she lost her needle.
Oh, she lost.
If we're going with everything, let's just put it this way.
So she has
I just wish to quickly stress this. We're really going to buckle down on this.
She lost.
She did the walk of shame. She lost everything. She walked through that door, this
so
little
she
pond.
is truly living sorrow now.
She came through that door butt-ass naked. She has nothing on her.
Oh.
She bet the clothes on her back,
Everyone
too.
is looking at her like, what did you do?
She just sits down. She goes, I lost the Scarecrow. I lost my needle. I lost everything.
Bijou and Bijou only hears a voice behind her that says, man, that's some crazy little bimbo. Lost everything. Nobody hears the voice but Bijou. Does she
So
turn
Bijou
around?
ignores the voice because she knows very well who that is.
We need to quickly preface this. This hasn't been coming up recently.
It hasn't.
And we
But
apologize
it's
to Jane
going
as
to
well
be
again
now.
for that.
It's going to be now.
Which, by the way, this is a very important thing. For those who are playing in games, if at any point you feel like your character is being ignored or your character is like there's
a detail
aspects
that's missing,
or there's things that are happening to your character, talk to your hero master and say, hey, listen, you've been neglecting my character.
If you have
and you as the hero master, and it's not just any hero master should hear their hero and go, I apologize.
If you have a good hero master, then they will work with you and make it, and make it fun for you and fun for everybody else along with it.
Everyone here is for fun, and we have been neglecting Jane's character. I was mean to Jane's character last week, and we've been neglecting Jane's character, so we're trying to rectify that. So we're bringing...
She doesn't turn around and look at the voice?
No.
It clears its throat.
What? She
says,
whispers.
It says, why are you whispering? I can hear you fine. And then the voice comes in front of you, and hopping in front of you is a bunny rabbit. The same size as you are. He is pastel pink. Looks like a stuffed rabbit, except for the fact he's very animated, very lively, and very much missing the gemstone that used to be in the center of his chest. The most striking feature that this bunny rabbit has is a very large, bright red heart emblazoned on one cheek. He looks adorable, but his attitude is something quite unadorable. His ears are long and floppy. He lifts one of them up and says, see, can hear you fine. Says, but you don't gotta whisper.
I have to whisper with everybody else around.
Says, why? He then turns around, hops up to a gammon gall and goes, hey, golly! He turns around and says, see, he can't hear me.
Yeah, but they can hear me.
Says, well, you're always doing weird things. The visions and things that you see and all that.
There's a little bit of a difference between blinking out and talking to yourself.
And he says, you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to me. And then he says, oh, now you're talking to yourself. There's a boom and there's a puff of, it looks like animated pink smoke where he had been, and then he's gone.
So she rolls her eyes and reaches down to her cloak, her favorite cloak, the one that she's been traveling with, and cuts a small square out of the end, ties a little string to it, and plops it onto the pawn. The pawn now has a cloak.
She's got a cloak. She puts it. She dusts it off a little bit because it is part of the bottom of your cloak.
Yep.
She dusts it off. She goes, "Thanks." It's not like a little poncho. She goes, "At least this is some sort of protection." It doesn't seem.
What were you thinking?
She goes, "I had lost everything. I lost the scarecrow. I lost my clothing. I tried to pay back."
Bijou looks up from the little pawn and finds that the pawn is gone, the house is gone, a gammon gall is gone, the dragon is gone.
We're trying to rectify.
And you find that you are standing on the shore of a lake, all by yourself. All is quiet. It's a wooded, beautiful area, large, beautiful lake, crystalline waters.
A town on the other end.
Not that you can see. You don't see. You just see
a giant lake.
Giant lake. And the waters part, and a giant sea serpent raises up out of the water. Huge, silvery gray, with long, spiny fins going down its back, but it has no head. As it raises up, the head begins to form on it, and the head is that of a kittykit. And the kittykit looks at you and screams. And then the head changes from a kittykit into a tangora, and then from a tangora into a pawn, and changing from all the different races. And suddenly you feel this enormous urge to charge out and hug the serpent. And you charge across the water, find that you are able to walk upon the water, running across it, wind your arms around the serpent's neck, screaming, "I'll save you, I'll save you." And then you wake up and you see the pawn is standing looking at you strangely. Because you've just been in the process of talking to her and then you dazed off.
Give me 2 seconds while I write all of that down, because I keep notes of my visions.
Raz, for her part.
And while I'm spacing out, this is where I'm spacing out while I'm writing down.
Well, what is Raz doing when the
Raz
Kiddykins
goes,
phases out?
okay. Actually, this brings into something I wanted for Raz. I want to change. And for those who are fans of a particular game series, they're going to immediately recognize what I'm about to ask. She looks at Zoltan. Basically Clamp, but Zoltan. She looks at Zoltan and she goes, "Do you have a weapon?" And he goes, "Yeah, actually I do." He goes over to a chest, pulls open. It looks like a little jewelry case. And by the way, I was kind of putting this off. I was going to do this later, but I lost everything. Sparked this idea. He goes, yeah, I got something for a pawn. He opens it up, and he pulls out a tiny little nail. And not just any nail. It looks like it's fashioned in the shape of a sword, but they're called nails. He goes over and he gives it to Raz, and he goes, "It's a little worn. It's from somewhere in the kingdom. I don't know exactly where I got it, but it should serve you." And she thanks him very much. Now, for those who are wondering, yes, this is from a game called Hollow Knight. I love that game, and I love the nail. So, I'm taking the nail.
And then the door to the house opens, and Bugs comes walking in. The Kittykin adventurer that you met last episode.
Didn't he go off? He was going on to several...
Well, he had been, but now he appears to be back. And he looks like he's out of breath and quite a huff. And he says, the item that you recovered from your from underneath that place you were in, where Freak Show sent you. It says you did recover an item, didn't you?
Raz and Shepard just look at each other, and then they look at Bijou, who's the one who has it.
The snow globe.
Snow globe.
Yeah.
The little house.
I just came right back out and went, yeah.
He says, "Do you have it?"
Yeah.
And he says, "May I see it?"
Why?
He says, we believe that there is something in that
Weren't
artifact."
you with us?
No, he wasn't. Not this.
Oh.
Not
He wasn't in the...
Bugs.
Bugs.
This is Bugs.
Tig says, "Oh yeah, there
Switching
is."
them to
Tig says, "Oh yeah, there is something in there." Says, "There's a little guy in there. He said he knew me."
She
And,
reaches in and pulls out.
And
I'm afraid you need some blue powdery dust to activate it, though.
says, "Blue powder. Oh, dust.
Dust.
Yeah. But that we understand that he provided this spirit, this entity. He provided you with items.
Yeah.
Various items.
Yeah.
We are also under... In fact, I pretty much guarantee that you're not the first ones that visited this entity. And someone else was provided an item. And we believe that someone is on their way to this Red Mother.
Oh.
And we haven't completely ascertained who this Red Mother is or what it is she's up to, but it doesn't seem to be a good thing. And therefore, I am going to try to head them off. I have a good idea of where they're going, and he looks at a Gammon, Gall, and Tiggs. And here's where decision time. Do you want either one of my characters in this adventure? You can have one. You won't get both of them.
Oh.
You can have one, or you can have both of them go with him.
I'm
up
going
to you.
I'm going to make a personal decision. I'm going to be running the next 3 episodes, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be running the next 3 episodes. Me personally, for the next 3 episodes, I would like a Gammon Gall to be there. So
he will be for the next.
Him
episode.
and Tiggs will be there, but
they won't be. One of them's not going to be there for this episode.
For this episode,
or maybe both. If you don't want either one of them, then both of them will go with him for this episode.
Okay. I would suggest, me personally, I think we should have Tiggs come with us.
Tiggs is a new character. Nobody really knows about him very much. It would be good to have Tiggs in the...
Although we did have an episode that didn't have a Gammon Gall, and I feel like since we're going to be having these two characters for the next 3 episodes, and my 2 characters are going to kind of take a sideline for a little while, I think we should actually... I'm going to change my vote. I'm going to say that Gammon Gall should come with us, because Tiggs is going to be front and center in the next couple episodes. Not being personally, he's just going to be there, so he's going to get a good amount of character development, and this will make up on a Gammon Gall's character development, my personal opinion.
True. Well, I'm going to roll a die. Evens or odds?
We are waiting. Unless you were asking, like, evens or odds, which in that
just
case...
chose.
Oh, okay.
5, that was an odd. I voted for a Gammon Gall was odd.
Okay.
All right, 2 votes for a Gammon Gall.
Kevin votes for 3.
Kevin's vote is 3 votes.
Does Kevin even care?
Meh.
See, that's why it counts as 3 votes.
Much so, a
Because
Gammon Gall.
he doesn't care, then he doesn't care. If he cares,
So
then...
therefore, Bugs grabs Tiggs by the ear and says, "I'll be needing the services of my nephew."
Would you like this as well? I don't think we will be needing him.
He says, "I'll take it just for safekeeping." He says, but I said almost forgot. I'm getting ahead of myself. He says, there is a good chance that the item that we're looking for is still here in Sorrow. There is a club, for that lack of a better term.
Raz is looking at the globe all of a sudden, and she goes, What exactly is in that globe?
And he looks at you and says, snow.
She goes,
He shakes
no.
and says, see, there's snow. And then he says, there's a club, for lack of a better term, called the Circus. It's here in Sorrow. And we have reason to believe that the proprietor of this club is strongly involved with this Red Mother, and in fact may have been behind much of what you dealt with yesterday.
Perhaps, I know this is an odd question, but maybe we can ask the little bird if what he might have sold to in the past.
A bird, you say? Tig says yes. He's like a bird, and he's really cool. And he said he knew me, and he gave me this, and he holds.
So wait, there's a shop in there?
Yeah.
Says yeah, it's a shop. And then a Gammon Gall says, yes, but there he is. Conniving. He is not completely
He's
trustworthy.
ruled by the coin, not so much by moral.
She goes, I wonder if I can gamble with him to get something.
I really doubt you will be able to.
She's looking down at her nice new poncho, and it's her gambling habit
Please
kicking in.
Don't gamble away my gift to you.
She goes, she's going to make a will save, because this is one of those, she has a moment to might be able to gamble to get some more stuff back. And I know this sounds like assholery, but it's
your character.
It's a flaw of hers. It's a gambling habit. It's a moment she can gamble.
Mm-hmm. And it is a flaw, so you play on the flaws. That's kind of their purpose.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no. She goes, anybody got any dust?
No. I will take the poncho back.
She looks at you, and she looks down at the poncho, and she goes,
Zoltan says, I'm intrigued. And you see he goes and wipes dust off of one of his shelves and sprinkles it on top of the globe. He says, I'm intrigued about this.
Who's currently holding it?
I am.
Birdman.
She disappears. And this is the moment where I gotta quickly come in here. How the globe works is whoever's currently holding it gets sucked in. So she's back in there.
So just her?
Just her, because
you all ended up in it before.
But each person had to grab it.
Mm.
That's how it works. Is whoever grabs it, who's ever holding
Tig says, now somebody else has to grab hold of it.
Raz.
She's standing there. Her eye is twitching. There's snow trickling on her. She's like, I can't believe that happened. I'm back here. God dang it.
You see the door open, and you see Butters looking out. He goes, "Oh, God, you're back! God damn it!" You see him run in. He takes out a crossbow. He throws it. Goes, "Get out of here, you penniless hobo!" And he closes the door.
She reappears.
She reappears with a crossbow.
It's like in her hand, her paws like, what?
Tig says, I want to go back in.
What?
He grabs a hold of it. Nothing happens. It still needs dust. There was a lot. The idea was there was a lot of dust on it at the time.
Tiggs goes up to the clamps. You want to clamp shells. And he sees a lot. He starts pouring, and he looks at Raz and says, "You want to come?"
Hell yeah!
He grabs Raz, picks her up,
going to
sets her
lose
on
my
top of
cloak.
it, and then he rubs a bunch of dust onto it, and Tiggs reappears.
Sidetrack. We're sidetracking.
No, we're not.
It's part of his plan.
We're actually not sidetracking.
We go in. Raz is looking around. Butters opens the door. Butters opens the door. He just looks at it and goes, "Okay, Tiggs, I gave you something for free. You're going to have to pay for things now."
He says, "There's a friend here that wants to meet you."
He looks down.
He sets Raz on the counter in front of... And he says, "Oh, and also I had a question for you, too."
Yes.
Says, "Have you sold anything to anybody besides us?" He has.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely sold many things to many people.
He
Especially
says,
pawns. Pawns are fun.
Recently, though.
He goes, recently. You
sold
got any
some-
coin?
You...
He's looking at the pawn. It's his character.
Yeah, Tiggs goes, knocks on the counter and says, "It's me. It's me." That's who's asking.
You got money. Okay, how much?
That's who's asking.
Oh, okay. So you're asking. That's information. You are like a previous friend, but like you need to start paying now. And are you going to be paying for this little pawn here? What's your name, dear?
Says,
Raz.
Says, "Oh, she's got her own money."
She looks at Tiggs. She looks at it. She goes, I actually have no money."
He says, "Why don't you have any money? I thought you were a big gambler."
She
Gamblers
goes.
always have money.
She sighs and she goes,
And Butters says, "She's a losing
"Gambler." He looks at her and she looks at Tiggs and he goes, "All right, give me 3 gold coins. I'll tell you the information you want."
Tiggs hands him 3 gold coins, and Butters makes a show of counting them. And then he takes the last one, sticks it in his beak, and bites it and says, "Yep, it's really gold. And yep, I did sell something to a clown."
Wait. I'm going to throw something out here. Butters goes, "Yeah, I did sell something. In fact, because you're a friend, you see him pull out a book this big, and you see him tap it, and he makes a copy, and he gives it to Tiggs. The book is as big as Tiggs.
And Tiggs like, "What is this?"
The entire directory of all purchases I have ever made since I opened my shop."
Cute.
"I only need to know the last one."
He goes, "Oh, that's on the bottom page." And suddenly Tiggs is outside, and Raz is still inside. And we'll get to Raz, because I feel like Butters would do something special with
Tiggs
Raz.
opens the book and says, "Right, he sold it to a clown." And Bug says, "That's not what I was hoping to hear." And he said it was called Bob.
Oh, no.
Says, "I don't know anything about that, but Bob. Don't know, doesn't mean anything to me. Does it mean anything to you, Uncle Bugs?" Bug says, "No, but you're coming with me. We've got to go. We've got to try to head them off." And he looks at the rest of you and says, "You need to go to this circus. And obviously the clown is the proprietor. I've heard of him before. And see if he has this object. Maybe you can persuade him to give it to you." And he says, "Where's the pawn?"
The pawn is still inside, and we're going to take a quick
What's
gander
Blake's
back.
name again?
Zoltan.
Alright, I look at Zoltan and hold the globe out to him and say, "Do you want to go and see it? Because you've been tossing around dust a lot. Do you want to go?
He says,
It's pretty cool.
"I do."
Go ahead."
He tosses dust and Zoltan disappears into it.
And
what happens to the pawn? quickly?
meanwhile, The pawn inside, I'm going to have to actually ask you a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Please take control of Raz for a moment. You're a conniving gambler
Mm-hmm.
who really wants better equipment. Butters is looking at the pawn and goes, a losing gambler, eh?
Just this time. Just a bad day, a bad turn.
You know gamblers, you know debtors. Yes?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with debtors, just gamblers. Like I said, this was just a bad turn. My first bad turn.
But you know cheaters as well, right?
Oh, I do know cheaters. Now, I'm pretty sure I was cheated.
And you know how to find cheaters, yes?
I do.
Well, I got a job for you. If you take it up, I'll give you equipment.
Okay, I'll take it up.
Basically speaking, Butters is basically making her the representative of basically Butters is entering a bit of a what are they called? He's a loan shark. He wants to start getting into loan sharking in the Fifth Realm, and he's asking Raz to be the front man of the loan sharking business, aptly called Butters's loans.
Butter shark.
Mm.
It's a butter shark.
Butter shark. Shark butter.
No, butter shark.
Butter shark.
It sounds funnier.
That sounds fun.
And as Zoltan disappears, and we see Raz reappear.
Now, we're not going to go into what Zoltan sees.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
No, you're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Zoltan, because Zoltan's just an NPC. And
Yeah, but Butters has Mongo.
Hey, let's put it this way. That'll be an end cutscene, because we got things to go do.
Mm-hmm.
We
Will
do
it
see
be an
Raz reappear with your cloak, but underneath is now a nice set of, like, pawn-sized armor. Like, it's really nice steel armor.
What?
Her nail looks nice. But there's also one small detail. Your poncho that you gave her now has a picture of a shark on butter.
What? How did you?
Raz looks very smug.
and she smiles and she goes, well, let's go get some, let's go start my new job. Dun, 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 dun. And she starts walking out.
Bugs and Tiggs have left, and which leaves the rest of you. And the Gammon Gall says, "So are we going? I suppose we have to go to this circus place now."
Shepard was looking, and by the way, Shepard was completely neglected this entire time. She walks in and she goes, "Why, miss?" She walked out to look after her
Yeah,
bug creature,
Gavion.
the Gabion.
What?
She saw Tiggs and Bugs leaving as she came in. Bugs looking very distraught.
We'll be back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I give the globe to Lily. What is her actual name in this? Is this still Lily?
It's Lily.
Yeah.
She gives it to Lily. Your husband is in here shopping.
She's Lily Ironspine. Wife of Zoltan Ironspine.
Your husband is in here shopping. Sprinkle some dust if he takes too long. I'm leaving this to you so he doesn't pop up randomly out of combat.
You see,
And Lily takes it and
Raz points up and goes, "Take care of my employer."
And Lily shakes her head and says, "This is all very strange."
You can always go in with him.
Maybe, but then maybe you had best get on with what Sir Bugs has charged you with.
Yeah, I'm just leaving it in your capable hands. Just...
I thank you, and I will. She seems rather taken aback and a bit intimidated by the whole. No, these aren't the same beings that were in our last universe. They are much more down-to-earth, homebody type of people. The whole magics and monsters and stuff. is a bit over their heads at
Oh.
this point in time.
Which, by the way, a very quick thing before we continue, I just want to quickly clarify something.
Hmm.
It may seem like my character was harshly punished and then got something even better.
Lone shark.
He's a lone shark. And I will say this for those who are watching, he's only loaning her the armor at the moment. Keep that in mind. Continue.
And Gammon heads out the door, being sure to stay far away from the pond as he does so.
She's just looking extremely smug. She's a dun 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 dun.
Oh boy.
Who has Shepard's looking at the pond. She cocks her head a little bit and then snorts. And who else here has a way to look through magic? Does anybody have a way to look through magic?
Gammon doesn't.
I mean, technically, I use magic. I don't know if I can look through it.
Make a knowledge magic roll.
Oh, I have that.
I think they're home. We are hosting a puppy.
No, I need to see the puppy.
Hosting a puppy. What do you mean?
I have 25.
Tom and Vanjie are part of a group that takes care of animals and dogs that
Orphaned.
that have been orphaned or have
Are
or
going-
rescued.
So
okay.
they're the owners that are adopting this puppy are going to pick them up Sunday, but they felt it was going to be funny going to Baltimore than all the way to Frederick. So they brought the puppy here for the
Yep.
night. Anyway, I got a 25.
A 25. Yeah, the armor and the nail itself. The nail is real, but how it looks and the armor she has under her poncho, except for the shark butter, is all an illusion. The Emperor has no clothes. Butters hates gamblers because they are like the chief reason of... He hates gamblers mostly because a lot of gamblers tried screwing him over on a lot of his ventures, so he kind of got out of the
So
gambling
the Emperor
scene.
has no clothes.
The Emperor has no clothes.
But she doesn't realize
It's
she
that.
has no clothes.
That's why you didn't see me go over to her armor page and give her better armor. No, she still has technically the same amount of armor. I'm supposed to brush my teeth at the moment.
Brusha.
I'll brush after this. I've been trying to get better at brushing.
Put it in there.
And for those who recognize the tune.
No, so
Continuing
you-
on, we
you-
go into Sorrow.
Go into Sorrow.
The tall, magnificent Sorrow.
And you find here that you are going up. The levels. The circus, it seems, is on one of the highest levels.
Which, by the way, does a Gammon Gall give... Because Sideshow would have fulfilled his deal. Because they would have met with Sideshow after that.
yeah.
We totally forgot to do that.
No, he has the ticket.
He has the ticket. There is now a place where they can set up shop. The Black Cats can set up shop. But he gave the ticket to you to go see Varana of the fourth realm. Third realm? I can't remember what realm she is.
The Dragon Realm.
Fourth realm. That's the fourth realm.
Which way did they? It had to be the.
No,
Let's see, the Shadow.
It's the first. Maestro is the second. Fairies are the third.
Dragons
are the fourth. You have a ticket to go see her, and in like a month, you'll have to be at the point
The meeting point.
at the White Mountain, which is the gateway to her realm,
Okay.
which is also where you draw all your magic.
Your god wants to say hello to you.
More like you have a ticket to go see your the god that oversees where your people came from, and magic. Like, this is a great honor.
How the heck?
Every season, we're going to a realm. We're going to this realm this season.
This will teach you to miss episodes.
Why did
He
I do
was
that?
having fun.
This-
In what was it?
So we go up,
Alaska?
up.
And you find yourself at one of the top levels of sorrow. And this place brings terrible memories to little Raz, because it was on this level was the gambling house where she lost the scarecrow.
This is the place that we're have to go.
But it's on this level. You're actually we're currently walking past the very gambling house that she lost the scarecrow at.
She looks in and she goes, "We should probably go get the scarecrow."
How much did you bet on the scarecrow?
I bet the scarecrow.
Against everything she lost.
What?
Well, my
Needle.
my needle, my money, my
How much money?
My Kaijin cubes.
2 Kaijin cubes.
Let's go get the scarecrow.
We go in to get the scarecrow.
You go into this gambling house and it is active. There are tables set up everywhere, dice and knuckle bones being thrown all about, and you see a tall, slender man in a cloak, the very one that you lost his scarecrow to. His eyes light up when he sees Raz and says, coming
In
back
brand
for
new
another
armor.
round.
In brand new armor, everything.
Coming back for another round. I see you do very well for yourself.
And she goes, "I've come back to get my scarecrow."
He says, "Oh, you mean my scarecrow?"
She goes, "Oh, no."
No, she means mine.
Yes.
I would like my scarecrow back.
Your scarecrow.
Apparently not. Apparently, and she looks over and she goes,
You have lost your ability to talk at this moment.
she looks down sheepish and she just goes, "Go ahead, explain."
The scarecrow is mine. I would like very much to have him back.
Says, "Well, you see, there's a problem there. Your little friend here lost the scarecrow to
In
me,
a gamble.
fair and square."
I understand that.
Raz goes, "No, you freaking cheated!"
And he says, "Actually, I didn't."
Ignoring my tiny friend,
Cheater.
I'm willing to
Cheater.
pay 2 Kaijin cubes in order to get my friend back. Will
He
that be
says-
acceptable?
He says, "I'm afraid your scarecrow is worth more to me than 2 Kaijin cubes."
Oh, really?
Gammon says,
scarecrow?
"How about 2 more Kaijin cubes?" Says, 4 Kaijin cubes. Says, "You realize your little pawn friend there, she is..."
In timeout.
Says, "Yes, but she is very well spoken, very well shaped, very appealing for a pawn. Perhaps she could gamble her own services for..."
She just
Scarecrow.
looks up. She looks up and she goes. Shepherd walks over and
Shepard, will you pluck our dear friend up and give her some air?
she goes.
Before she loses herself.
Shepherd just coughs, and she is still dressed as a Nithian soldier.
Mhm.
Which, as a quick side note, Nith, the Empire of Nith, and the Kingdom of Gornux are very tight knit. She walks over and she goes, "I may have a way to rectify the entire situation."
Says, "Yes, ma'am, what is that?" He's very polite to her.
She goes, "Do you know of my order?"
He
And
says,
she is definitely of the Coven of Nithia.
"The Coven of Nithia?"
She nods.
He says, "I know of it."
"So you know about our many magical potions, brews, fumes, and
He says,
scrolls."
"I have owned a few in my time."
She nods and she goes, I can brew a potion, fume, make a scroll for you if you so wish, in exchange for the scarecrow."
He says, "So you're wishing to buy the scarecrow?"
For a service. You did say a service would suffice.
He says,
And I'm willing to give my service of my knowledge of magic to you. A fume, a fouling fume, a fume of misfortune. And she puts emphasis on that one. Why, anyone who breathes that fume in...
He smiles and says, can you brew me too?
She smiles even broader and she goes, brew you too. Why, she reaches back, pulls out her pack, reaches in, and pulls 2 fumes. She no longer has those 2 potions.
Your father texted me to visit. I don't know what's going on, but...
Just you?
Yeah.
Alright.
And he says, I think we have a deal.
She gives the fume bottles, and she goes, just make sure you don't fume it in yourself.
He says, oh, I have owned these particular fumes before. There are certain times that they can be extremely useful.
Does he look down at the pawn?
He does.
She nods and she goes, excellent. She then says, well, can we have our scarecrow back?
He hands you a pumpkin, a large pumpkin, knocks 3 times with his knuckles on the pumpkin, and the pumpkin promptly transforms into the scarecrow.
She goes...
And he smiles and says, I bet you didn't know it could do that.
She nods and she goes, we did not know it could do that.
And the scarecrow looks at you and goes, why?
She goes, because you're an enigma to me.
And the scarecrow looks at the tall, skinny man and says, why?
Has anybody noticed where the pawn has went?
No.
Okay.
Everyone's paying attention to the scarecrow.
Jane's gone, but we're just going to quickly continue. We're going to quickly wrap this up. We see Raz return with the owner of the place.
Okay.
And she points at him and she goes, he's got cheating material.
And the owner, who is a short, balding, fat man with the nose and cheeks that indicate a heavy drinker.
Oh my god.
Look at the puppy!
Hi, little guy.
Little girl.
Little girl.
Yeah.
A cutie pie.
Cutie pie. Aww.
Yes, hello. Oh. Got a puppy!
There's that puppy.
It's a big puppy, though. She's going to be big when she's full-sized.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Look at the paws. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You want to smell? I think new area, new people.
What breed is she, or is she a mutt?
No idea. We're overnighting her, and we'll take her to her forever home tomorrow.
Mm.
This is her forever home now.
Nah.
Her forever owner's just lost her.
Nah.
She's been puppy jacked on the way.
Yeah. Nah. We'd never do that. But the owner comes over with Raz, and Raz is pointing at him and going, he's got cheating material,
And
sir.
he goes, Milo? He looks at the tall, thin man and says, you cheating? Milo says, not at all, sir. And the fat man looks at Raz and says, I'm going to need some proof.
Nith, you see Shepard look over, and she nods, and she goes, well, he just did accept 2 fumes of misfortune from me as payment.
And the fat man looks at Milo and says, that was a pretty smart move. And Milo says, you see, that's not cheating.
She goes, fumes of misfortune are very good as cheating material. So, if anything, I would keep an eye out on him to make sure he doesn't use those fumes.
And
she smiles back at him.
You see the fat guy looks at Raz and says, why would fumes of misfortune be cheating materials?
Raz points and she goes, fumes of misfortune. Hang on. Actually, Raz wouldn't say that. She would look over and she goes, well, fumes of misfortune do cause a temporary loss of thinking capacity and the ability to problem solve. Then again, it would just be like imbibing a light alcoholic drink.
And Milo and the owner both look at each other, then look at Raz and say, so is that what happened yesterday? They both look at her.
And she goes, She goes, yeah, he used a fume of misfortune.
He says, I did not. He says, your misfortune followed you, my tiny friend.
Mew must be cursed.
And the owner says, that's exactly it. You must be cursed. Says, fumes of misfortune. He scoffs and walks away. Obviously, the house has no problem
With him.
Fumes of misfortune.
She sighs and she goes, dang. I was trying to live up to my new title. And she does this and she... Where's my armor? That bastard. It's at that. It's the moment that she tried to use her.
Then it all disappeared.
It all disappeared.
And she realized she's just wearing the makeshift poncho.
Poncho.
She was given.
She just goes like this. She goes, shh, shh, fuck.
Gammon says, "Okay, let's get back to our business at hand."
She climbs up the pumpkin, the scarecrow, and she goes, "Hey guy, sorry I betted you."
And the scarecrow says, "I was betted."
In a proud voice. I'm just like, I was betted.
It's exactly the way it does. I was betted. I have value.
That's one way to look at it.
And then the scarecrow looks at Bijou and says, "I'm yours."
You are my friend.
And then it says, "Oh, why?"
Because I like you.
No one owns you, my friend, except for me. Continuing on!
No, you are in timeout.
Raz just looks at you, narrows her eyes, and she goes, he's my only friend. And she betted him.
And she betted him.
You are in timeout. Would you like to sit in my pouch for the rest of the day?
She looks at you, her eyes continue narrowing even more until they're just slits, and she goes, can I still ride my scarecrow?
If you don't bet for an entire month.
She goes, that might actually cure her flaw. Fine.
Then the scarecrow says, "Bet me again! Bet me again!"
No, we don't bet our friends.
She goes, it's true, I should not have betted you.
You say sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The scarecrow says, "I'm sorry."
No, you don't have to say sorry.
Oh, I don't have to say, says, "I'm not sorry."
Do you forgive me?
And the scarecrow looks at Bijou and says, "Do I have to forgive her?"
You don't have to if you don't.
"I don't forgive you."
She goes, at least
And the scarecrow says, "What is forgive?"
Forgive means that
we arrive at the tent.
You arrive at Circus while Bijou is still trying to figure
Explain
out how to
forgive.
explain forgiveness to the scarecrow.
Who probably doesn't understand.
And so he simply asks why to every
Question.
explanation she gives.
maybe I should bring you to Zell for a school lesson.
School? What is school? Will they bet me in school?
No.
Raz goes, actually in my schools they did. Then again, I lived in several orphanages.
Yeah, we don't. No. No. No wonder you have a gambling problem.
The circus does indeed look like a giant tent. Bright orange. There are huge torches set on all four corners of the tent. And there is a large single opening. And at this opening, you see there stand two pawn guards in their golems. The golems are both brightly painted. They have stars.
And we're here for what
stripes,
reason again?
Swirls,
Because I totally forgot exactly why we are here.
because the clown who runs this place
Bought something.
bought something called Bob from Butters.
And we need to
And-
find out.
Bugs is very afraid that this is...
Why would Butters sell Bob?
It's Butters.
But it's Bob.
Bob has...
No, Bob is more valuable to the other players. Butters would have just seen Bob as a item to sell.
Yeah.
Probably because he has this other skull that he can't get the hell out of his place.
He's tried to give it away and hasn't been able to. And these two golems
I
standing
hear
in
the
front of
puppy in the other room.
Yeah. They are brightly colored orange, particularly orange and yellow. Stars, stripes, swirls, polka dots covering them. It's as though they were both painted by mad painters who had no clue as to what they actually wanted to paint. The colors are so mad and disjointed. And the two golems stand there. They both have their arms crossed in front of them. And one of the two pawns says, "Who are you? What are you doing here? We're closed."
Jane, we're losing Jane. There's a puppy in the other room.
She's alone.
The puppy's alone. I gotta pee. So since we're missing Jane, I might as well take care of that.
The puppy has ruined the stream.
Yes.
We are so sorry.
The puppy has ruined the stream.
She's alone and sad.
They left
Are you-
her
are you-
alone.
They left to Fawn and Gary.
Oh, but are you supposed to be playing with the puppy?
The puppy's alone.
Aww.
She's lonely. All she wants is love.
But are you supposed to be doing that, considering it's the forever home? Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be mean, it's just like...
It's like people at adoption agencies take care of and love critters. It's
Okay.
like working at a preschool. You don't just like stick them in a corner and pretend they don't exist for
You
an
don't do
entire-
that? Oh, I need to revise my teaching habits then. No, I would never do that to a kid. And by the way, for those who are wondering, yes, I'm making these jokes because kids are not supposed to be watching. I'm watching you, Billy. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be watching right now. You're supposed to be getting ready for school tomorrow. That's right. I know you go to Sunday school. Jesus is not going to be happy with you. Communion is going to be very bad for you, Billy. That's right. Go right back to bed. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Calm down, the
or
joke
else
is dead.
Satan will get you. No, I'm done now.
Hi.
So cute. She's so cute.
She is adorable, and she's so lonely.
Aw.
All she wants
It's
is
a
to love.
puppy. God, there you are. We're watching the live stream as well. There's the puppy. There's
So
now.
we're watching puppies now.
Yeah.
Mm.
She was so lonely.
She's very
She is. She looks terrified.
Mm-hmm. Well, all these people she doesn't know and all these smells she's never smelled before.
Sorry, Tim.
The two pawns and their golems are standing there, arms crossed. We're closed. Who are you? What do you want?
We see Shepard look over at Raz, and she goes, by the way, before we get there, as they were talking, she goes, I might be able to help you in combat, at least for a little bit. Raz goes, what do you mean? Well, after a little bit of talking, I remembered that there's a thing called minuscule scrolls, potions, fumes, and puppets. What do they do? Well, they can technically... Would you like me to try one on you in the next combat? If it'll help me. Yeah, I think it might just help you. So, I just want to make that note as that was something that was mentioned. So, Shepard, being the appointed Black Cat, leading the charge, walks up to the pawns and she goes, I do not care if you are closed. We are here to see the Ringmaster. Roll credits!
The Ringmaster is busy.
She goes, I am a soldier of Nith, Order
I
of
see
the
that.
Black Cats, and the Coven of Nithia.
I see.
I
that you
wish
are a
to
soldier
see-
of Nith.
I wish to see...
I've never heard of the Black Cats nor the Coven of Nithia.
she's getting a little hot-headed here.
Mm.
And she's going to roll. She doesn't have it. Roll for. Would this be deception or diplomacy? Because she's technically not a part of two of those organizations.
Probably diplomacy, because they don't seem to care about those two organizations.
Ooh. 5.
And they say, "You are who you are, and you're a long way from home, soldier of Nithia."
Oh,
Soldier of
you're
Myth.
gonna
You're a
fall
long way
off
from
my
home.
lap.
Raz pipes up from the Scarecrow, who's continually saying why, and she goes, "Listen, we have a new act we want him to see. Look at this guy." And she goes, "He can continue doing anything you want. Watch this. Do a backflip."
The Scarecrow does a backflip.
While she's on the Scarecrow.
And then the Scarecrow says, "Why did I do that?"
She goes, "Because you can do anything. Watch this." And she goes,
Your puppy was falling off my lap.
"Get ready to catch me, big fella." She's saying this to the other pawn. She goes, "Pocket pawn!"
And the Scarecrow throws Raz
At him.
at him.
Does he catch her?
He catches her.
She goes, and she's going to make a dexterity roll to successfully land. Acrobatics. A natural 20 to land it in his hand. So when he opens his hand, she goes, "Ta-da!" And it's like the most beautiful thing he's ever seen in his life. Like the best circus act.
And you see both pawn guards look, and they say, "Damn, that was impressive." And the other one says, "The ringmaster might like this trick."
She goes, "I've always wanted to be a part of the circus, and we would just desperately love to see him." And she looks at her compatriots and she goes, "Each one of them, excluding, of course, the soldier guard, she just wants to see the ringmaster for some reason, want to be a part of the circus."
And you see the two guards look at each other,
We don't know why she wants to see him.
and they both say, "Oh, we can let him in." Says, "I don't know if the ringmaster will see you, but I think he'd like to see that trick." And they step aside. You won them over.
We go in.
And
Awesome.
you are now entering the map.
Alright. While you guys are doing that, I'm putting the puppy back. Your puppy needs
So
to
how
go
we
back.
need to get the camera situated so that it
She
sees.
was
Let
walking.
me-
I couldn't just leave her there. All alone.
I mean, what's you could have just kept her in here.
True, but there's puppy pads.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
So Tiggs is not here.
Bye bye.
Avada Avada Kedavra.
No.
What a wonderful curse. Doo-doo-doo. Avada Kedavra. It can't get any worse.
It's copyrighted. Be careful.
And you
Copyright
are now entering.
really
map.
sucks.
You are now entering the map.
The map of maps.
The map.
You find
The
you
map,
head
the
through
map,
the
map.
opening in the tent and find yourself that the tent was simply an outer coating for a circular building inside. And walking to the door of the building, you find yourself in.
Move the
a
camera
hallway.
this way a little bit more. There we go.
I'm not
And-
doing it again.
For a place that calls itself the circus, the hallway you're standing in is very dimly lit and seems quite ominous. You
For
can
a
hear
circus, this is very
a series of strange
bland.
squeaking, grinding sounds. You can't be certain where they're coming from. They seem to be coming from all around.
We see Raz on top of the Scarecrow, and she goes, "Okay, listen." And you see her fix her poncho, the only piece of clothing she has on. She goes, "Listen. What we're going to do is we're going to go find the ringmaster. I don't know what the hell those things are, but we're going to go see the ringmaster. Now remember, Your trick is that you can do any kind of element, which is unique to dragons. You think of something. And she looks at Shepard and she goes, you are here to see the Ringmaster, and you're piggybacking off of us. Got it? Shepard goes, I cannot contain this lie. But I will do my best.
So you've got.
You see her, which, by the way, for those who are like wondering like where this is going to go, Shepard has a twitch whenever she lies, and it's such a giveaway.
There's a door right here, and a hallway directly in front of you.
We should have asked where this ringmaster was rather than just go ahead. Don't worry about it. You'll find your way. That's a great way to figure out where to go.
Raz pops her head out, and she goes, hey, where is the Ringmaster?
And you see the two guards won't look, and they say, don't know. He's busy.
She
He
goes,
doesn't tell us where he's going to be when he's busy. He tells us not to have him disturbed.
she goes,
At least
well, can one of you come with us just to make sure that we don't seem like we're intruding?
And you see the one guard says, but you are intruding. Well, we let them intrude. And then they both look and say, oh, that's not good. And they look and say, we didn't see you. We don't know who you are.
She goes, oh. She goes, okay. We're on our own.
Oh no!
You guys are the worst.
Oh no! I opened the door.
You just go, all right.
The dragon opens the door. So you're talking to the two pawns. The dragon opens the door. He pokes his head in, and he sees not an especially large chamber. It's obviously built into the wall of the circular structure because one wall has a circular bend to it. And you see the room. There is a couch. There's a large table in the center of the room. There's a large, comfortable couch in the corner. And you see seated upon the couch are three little pawn women. And they all look at you, and one goes, oh, a draggy. I like draggies. They're so strong and noble. And the other one says, oh, and they have such wonderful breath and such magnificent scales. And then the one in the middle says, come on over here, draggy. We'll pet you.
You see Shepard just walk over, lean over, reach the doorknob, close it in front, and she goes, we're sorry to disturb you, ladies.
And you hear
Click.
one says, hey, you bitch, we were talking to the dragon, not you.
Please stop talking to my husband. Click.
What?
I thought she couldn't lie.
Oh!
We're going to see. No, this is a Twitch. And Twitch, if I remember correctly, negative D6 onto the roll. Ooh. So she's using her charisma, which is a 0, so it's a 12. So, but she rolled a -4, so 12 subtract 4, 8. She twitches as she lies, going, my husband, click.
And the three pawns, we see a cut scene, and we see the three pawns sitting in the room on the couch. Like, she was lying. She's not his husband. They're not supposed to be here, are they? One says, sound the alarm. And so what do you...
God damn it!
Where do you head next?
Up there. We just see Raz look at Shepard, go, husband? Really? She twitches and she goes, yes. She sighs. She goes, I really hope they bought that.
I really doubt they bought that.
I'd
Not
rather-
even a child.
And you see, the hallway leads you out into a large central chamber.
What a horrible flaw I made.
And you can see that this central chamber is sort of shaped like the central ring of a circus tent. It is not very well lit. There are a few torches here and there. You hear that grinding, squeaking sound is coming from the center of the chamber, where you see there is a large pillar that raises up to the top of the ceiling, and it is slowly rotating. And you see as it rotates, you can look up above, you can see a series of apparatuses There are trapezes, there are nets, there are high wires, and the whole thing is slowly rotating around the room so that any performers who are up there are doing their performances on a constantly rotating stage.
This is a very dark carnival.
You see Raz go, yeah, sorrow seems to be a... She goes, wait a minute. She turns her poncho around and the insignia is still on of the butter shark, and she goes, of course that is real. Remind me of my stupidity. Yeah, sorrow seems to be a awful place that has awful things in it. You see she's becoming a little jaded at this.
At the moment, there are no performers, there are no high wires, no acrobats. The place is empty, and the squeaking, grinding sound echoes eerily throughout the chamber. There doesn't appear to be anyone around.
Shepherd just sighs, and you see her pull out a scroll of the owl, tosses it. It creates a human-sized owl, and she goes, "Fly up to the trapezes, see what there is to see, and report back."
The owl flies up to the trapeze, and then promptly looks down at you and says, "There are guards coming your way."
Oh, perfect.
Says they're coming from the other end of the chamber.
You see her nod, and can I make an educated guess? Combat's about to initiate?
Possibly.
Possibly. There's always a possibility of combat in Hero Builder.
And you see two guards, golems, with pawn pilots, just like the two that you just dealt with, and they are brightly colored in the same manner with stars and stripes and swirls and whirls and polka dots, with the primary colors being orange and yellow.
Oh, no.
You can hold the puppy. It's not going to distract anybody. And so what do? You see the two guards. They're not charging at you. They're heading your direction. One of them says, "We're closed. You're not supposed to be here."
Raz goes, "Ah, but we are the new act!"
Says there are no new acts. Nothing's been approved. We haven't been told about anything.
No, we are here to put on a display. And she goes, "Are you ready?"
If I may,
She goes,
you had your chance.
"Yes, go ahead."
So she steps forward, taps her staff 3 times, and she uses illusion, which is one of her skills she's never used. Well, not skills, but it's one of her proficiencies she doesn't use very often. And she taps it and makes tiny little rainbow butterflies. And they sprout from behind her cloak.
I would call this a skill called Dazzle.
Dazzle?
I would call you're trying to dazzle them into submission. You're basically, I would say kind of like sleight of hand, except you're using illusions to dazzle them into it. So I would say that would be a skill, and I would tie your because it's your I would say intelligence, really. Intelligence or wisdom to bedazzle them.
I got a 20, not a natural. It's 15 plus 5.
One of them goes, "Wow, look at that. Oh, man." And he actually starts hopping around trying to chase some of the butterflies. And the other one crosses its arms and says, "I'm not impressed, sister. I've seen better parlor tricks than that."
You see Raz go, "Ah, but the ringmaster will also love this wonderful man." And she points to Raz and she goes, "Show him what you can do."
And the one guard is still swatting at butterflies and like trying to catch them. The other one has his arms crossed and says, "Let me guess, he breathes fire."
She goes, "Ah, not just that." And she goes, "Shepherd, if you will." Shepherd sighs. She walks over. You see her pull out a scroll of the bear and summon a bear right in front of him. And she goes, "Demonstrate what you can do to the bear." The bear just sits there. You go the falcon bear, and just looks at you. Big eyes.
It's a bear, Kevin!
Falcon bear.
I breathe ice on it.
He's choosing ice. He breathes ice.
And the guard goes, ice?
Not just ice.
Not just ice.
Goes, I thought they just breathed fire. It's like, and I've been living here in Sorrow where there's dragons everywhere. I never seen one breathe ice before.
Then I breathe acid.
He turns green, radioactive green, just blows out. And I'm going to say roll you're trying to dazzle them too, so either intelligence or wisdom.
It's not It's not dazzling. He's literally using his ability.
Feat of strength.
Do we have any water?
Yes, it's right behind you. If you
Other
would
way.
Other way.
Oh, there it is.
If you would grab me another one.
If I can get to it. Move the chair out of the way, I guess I can.
I would say feat of strength. You're not really using your strength in this case, but you are trying to show off how powerful you are.
You're using your dragon power.
Yo, the wagon. That wasn't really a good one.
Do you care?
Although you might be
I
getting a
prefer
bonus
that
because
one,
no
but it
other
doesn't
dragons
matter.
can do this.
Wanted to give that one a
True.
try. I love this one so very much. It's my favorite flavor.
I would say at least a +3 onto that.
Well, if it's a feat of strength, I would add my
drink.
strength and my dragon to it. So I got a 12.
He didn't roll so good, but he does have a lot of bonuses onto that.
He was already impressed by the first puff of ice. He says, so this is what you want to show this to the boss? Says, I think you'd be impressed with that. And the other one says, oh, so do I. I think the boss would be impressed with all these butterflies.
She goes, but that is not all. And she goes, but let us save our final act for the Ringmaster. Can you show us where he is?
They look at each other and say, I don't know where he's at. Do you know where he's at? No, I don't know where he's at. He's busy.
Shepard sighs and she goes, we really need to see him. They want to become circus freaks and I wish to ask him a question.
And
She
then you
knows
hear,
that we're lying.
Yeah. Good point. Shepard might just fuck this up. It's just something that, like, really... Okay, let's just put it this way. She rolled a 9 and it's a -4 on top of that. You just see her... She is twitching as she go... The part of, I just want to ask him a question, and they want to be circus
Gall looks
freaks?
at Bijou and says, I've got to keep her from talking.
Like, it's to give away that something's not right. I mean, like, I will say this. She is lying, but, I mean... She's twitching as she's doing it, so she might they might see it as the idea of, like they can go see her, they can go see the Ringmaster. You just stay here.
And the one,
You're a little bit of a weirdo there.
the one that was chasing butterflies, obviously the less bright of the two, says, "You need a doctor or something?"
Don't worry about her.
And the other one says, "Wait a minute. You're hiding something. You're funning me, aren't you?"
Don't worry about her.
Shepard
She
starts
has-
opening her mouth again.
Don't worry about her. She has a little bit of a twitch. She can't control it. It's quite sad.
She goes, but it makes for great reflex times. Puck upon me and her! And Raz is trying to save the day here. Raz rolled good on acrobatics. She rolled a...
But does
16, 17,
Shepard
20.
do good?
It's
on
a
that?
20. And Shepard rolls for acrobatics. Not bad as well. That's a 17. So both rolled well.
And the one guard claps his hands together and says, ping pong! I love it! And the other one, he still has his arms crossed and says, yeah, but...
Because we see her just backhand
He's like,
her.
I don't know if I trust that Nith soldier, though. Something's up with her.
She starts opening her mouth again. Does anyone else...
Don't worry about her. She's our agent.
You're what?
Our agent.
Hence the question she has. And she will save the question for the ringmaster.
Then the two guards shrug and they say, the one says, I believe him. The other one says, I suppose you're right. How much trouble could they get into? There's really nothing going on around here right now. But like I said, we don't know where he's at. The two guards walk off and say, if you find him, he might listen to you.
Do you have any guess of where he might be?
They say, nope, he's busy. And he told us he wasn't to be disturbed. And then the two look at each other and say, wait a minute, he's going to be disturbed. They look and no, they say, we don't know you. We haven't seen you. And they both leave quickly.
These guards don't like us. They don't want to know.
Shepard is looking down. Raz just looks at her and she goes, how about this? Don't open your mouth and we might get somewhere.
We love you, Shepard, but really, you're not very good at lying.
Where do you go from here?
Yes, I am.
You see some more hallways back in here. And there's the central pillar with the whole thing rotating up above you. But the guards have gone off into the gloom and you don't see anybody else around. And except for the squeaking and grinding of the rotating pillar, you don't hear anything.
I don't like how that pillar is. Maybe I might have some oil.
Her ear twitches of annoyance.
Shepard looks up at the big owl and she goes, anything else?
The owl is sitting up on one of the trapezes, just sitting there, and says, don't see anyone else.
Do you see any staircases, upstairs, downstairs,
Says-
other doors?
Says there are some other doors, looks like. It's all in shadow, kind of hard to see, but don't see any people.
So she taps her staff, and the butterflies that she had floating around turn into little balls of light to light up the area.
Right, because it is very gloomy, and it does light the area. And where do you go from here?
Say that way.
This way.
You know what? Because I really don't want to be running around in a circle, Raz is going to make a leap in logic.
Oh, the puppy keeps crying. Die here.
15 in leap in logic. She is trying to find the best way to find the ringmaster.
Oh,
Now, 15,
A 15.
you have no idea. He could be anywhere. And it looks, since this place is closed, it looks like there's not much of any activity. But one thing there's one thing that seems strange to you. The place is closed. There's no performers. There's nobody setting up shop anywhere. Therefore, why is the pillar rotating and causing the whole high wire stage to spin when there's nobody up there performing on the spinning stage?
As they walk, Raz says to the Scarecrow, get me closer to that pillar. And she expects the bottom of the pillar to see how it's rotating.
It drops down through the floor. Apparently, whatever mechanism rotates it is down below the floor, at another level below the one you're standing on. So there is some sort of a basement below you, you would guess.
Raz looks at Gammon Gall, says, Mr. Gall,
Yes?
got a question for you.
What is that?
This is the pawn.
French teeth.
He's
Pawn.
he's not really close, so he's all right at the moment. If she gets
Are
closer,
we here to make friends?
and he shrugs and takes a couple of steps back, and then says, "We're here to ask questions. I suppose depending upon those answers depends upon whether we're making friends or not."
She goes, good point.
Says,
Right,
but
you
since
got
we can't
everyone
find
in.
anyone to even ask these questions to, he sort of stutters over his words a little bit, and then looks towards Shepard.
Shepard nods and she goes, what we really need to find out is where the ringmaster is, because if he is the one that bought this item, he might be in league with the Blood Mother. And this is the part where I have to use the restroom. You guys are on your own for a moment. They catch up with the rest at this point.
So is the dragon just sitting here
Opening the
watching
door.
this, or is the dragon going off and
I'm opening that door over there.
putting in front of the door that he's
Yes.
opening? All right, he opens this door, pokes his head in, and sees another large chamber, much like the last one we looked in. And although this one is a bit bigger, there is a single couch off in one corner, and then the rest of the chamber is carpeted with lush, thick. The entire floor covered with lush, thick carpeting. And in the center of this lushly carpeted floor, there is a large female dragon, black and purple coloration, and she's lying in the middle of the floor. She looks up at you and goes, She goes, "You're a stout one, aren't you?"
Oh boy.
There's whores of every shape and size in the circus.
Oh boy.
Just close the door.
She's a very good-looking dragoness.
Let's see. Do I go in or do I close the door?
Roll it. What was that?
I closed the door.
And you sound so disappointed.
A part of me wants to go
If you
in.
want to go in, go in.
I mean,
She does this. One claw.
The puppy has done what puppies do best.
Feet on the floor.
And chat.
She holds one claw up in front of her nose and goes,
What have I missed?
Found a dragon whore.
A dragon whore?
when the next room he opened up, there's a huge carpeted chamber with a beautiful female dragon laying in the middle of the floor.
Shepard's going, I really don't think
Shepherd
this
is
is a
on the
circus.
other side.
Shepherd's on the other side. She's nowhere near the
Nobody
dragon.
knows what's going on
The
with the
dragon's all
dragon.
by himself over there.
I go in.
And she goes in. And does he shut the door behind him?
Wait. We got this. Hold on.
Oh my.
You are sorry.
But the real question is this a circus of, like, Circus DeVille? Or is this Mrs. Henderson presents?
It's a little bit of everything. The circus is just for entertainment while the clientele loses their money while they're watching all this. Well, if it were in full operation and fully open, there would be wares and much of which very shady type things of a whole entire black marketplace spread out everywhere.
Good point. Actually, you know what? I'll have to retract my statement. Mrs. Henderson Presents isn't a good analogy for this. What is this? The Baltimore Block? There we go. Because Mrs. Henderson Presents is actually a really good movie and a really good take on, like, it's a movie about World War II during the bombing of London. But anyway, look into the movie, and that movie's definitely not
What do the rest of you do?
for kids.
And I don't close the door. Keep it open.
Yeah, what do the rest of you do?
We look for the dragon.
The dragon has disappeared. The dragon has disappeared.
Shepard
How
looks
do we
over.
lose a dragon that is half the size of a normal house?
Shepard looks up, and she goes at the owl, and she goes, "Where'd the dragon go?"
And the owl says, "I wasn't supposed to be looking for dragons."
She goes, "Well, he probably went this way." So we go that way.
That way. Had your people off in the direction you.
Which way?
Which.
I'm so far away. I need like a stick. I need a stick.
Where are you?
Right, where do you head to?
Don't okay.
Over
Go
here?
this way.
So you head to this chamber.
Now I do
Gammon
feel like
Gall
I'm
is-
in World War II.
Gammon Gall is still there. Who goes in? Does Bijou go?
Bijou is hanging out with the gammon. He seems like the only sane person.
No, let
Raz by herself?
Raz is with them. Shepard has gone off on her
Shepard
own.
is off. And Shepard goes to
No.
this.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wait.
Shepard.
Mr. Shepard? I thought this was Shepard.
No, that's Shepard.
Why
Shep-
is it Shepard?
Because it looks more like how I envisioned Shepard.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
Shepard comes to a door.
Her crossbow broke. You have a teeny crossbow?
It goes back on.
Shepard comes to a door.
She knocks politely. As you should do in this place!
And you hear no answer, no sound on the other side.
She checks the door for a trap.
It's not locked.
She opens the door.
Open the door and you see a small chamber inside. There is a single couch against the wall. The floor is lushly carpeted. There doesn't appear to be any occupants in this room. Over next to the couch, there is a single small chest.
She looks around, and then she pops her head over to see Raz, and she goes, "This room is not. This room is empty. Let's take a look."
Does Raz come over?
Raz goes, "Hey guys, there's a thing over there. It's empty. Let's go take a look." Does Bijou follow?
She's looking for the dragon. She's
So
gotta go
you've
over
gone
there.
that way, and by the way, just kind of like do this.
Quick movement of the camera.
We're over there now.
Dragon's having fun.
Alright, you go into that chamber. Where'd Bijou go?
Over here.
To this door?
Where is a gammon?
Still in the center of the...
It's like, I'm
A
not going
gammon
to...
follows you then. Put a gammon next to Bijou.
Oh, we're doing the classic part where we split the party up. Da, da.
Now, does Bijou go to that door?
Yep.
What's that one?
Bum, ba ba bum bum.
It's the funky shape one.
One
of the funky shaped ones.
Yeah, a couple funky shaped ones. And she goes to this door. This door is locked.
Okay, well, that's easy enough.
Do you knock?
I know.
You knock, and you hear nothing on the other side.
Alright, that's fine. I have a 20...
I'm screwing with the viewers over there.
Stop!
I can screw with the viewers if I want.
Get some help.
Stop. Get some help.
Alright.
How come it seems that when I am
22.
hero mastering, every single session we are always yelling at the same person?
Kevin?
Excuse me?
We never yell at Kevin.
All right, you're trying to pick the lock.
Yes.
You succeed with a 22. That succeeds. The lock clicks, and you open the door.
Mhm.
And you see a large, oddly shaped chamber. This one does not have lush carpeting. There is a couch, although the couch is a bit more old and used. Doesn't look like it's not lush or beautiful like the ones in the other rooms. And this room is rather dark. And you see there are several racks along the wall over next to the couch.
How gruesome.
And these racks all hold suits. And they all appear to be various clown outfits.
Well, if we need...
Hanging on the clothing racks. Clown outfits, polka dots, lightning bolts, whirls, stars, stripes, pinwheels.
She closes
Various
the
colors,
door again and locks it.
yellow and orange seem to be the predominant colors.
She closed the door again and locks it so that, nobody knows she went in.
That was an odd room. Let's go to the other one.
She turns to the Gamagal and says that.
You hear a new sound over top of the sound of the squeaking and grinding of the rotating pillar. Sounds like beasts fighting each other. If I had my Godzilla sound with me, it would be a perfect time.
Although it'd be more like...
Where's the red button?
There is no red button. Here, red dice.
Alright, moving on from the subject, because you should always make sure everybody's comfortable. My two characters are currently looking at the chest, and Raz is attempting to open it.
Alright. And what do you make, or what are you going to use to open it? Just try to open it, or you're going to use a lockpick skill? What?
Is it locked?
You don't know.
She looks at the pumpkin and she goes, "Open the chest."
The pumpkin?
And
The scarecrow.
the scarecrow puts his hands on the chest, and he says, "It won't open. Why?"
She goes, "Okay, locked." Shepard, do you know any lock-picking skills? Nope. A lot of fun that was. We need the cat. She points at the chest and she goes, "Pick that up. Please."
The scarecrow attempts to and says, "Too heavy, can't budge it."
She
Why?
She goes, "Too heavy." Shepard walks over and tries to pick it up.
Make an awareness check.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Who's making the
Shepherd?
awareness?
Shepherd.
Shepard.
I'm fixing Shepherd.
Shepard, I actually think has that as a skill. Nope. I don't think she does. So 10.
I have an awareness.
I rolled a 5 and add 5.
She reaches down, tries to lift the chest. It won't budge.
Odd.
Very odd. It's not a big chest. It doesn't budge at all.
Not even like shifts.
It doesn't even shift or shake.
She looks down and she goes, "Huh."
Make another awareness check. Both of you make awareness checks.
Puppy's whining. I can't.
Okay,
handle it.
Shepard got an 18 plus 5. 18 plus 5. 23 for Shepard. I don't know what she adds for her wisdom. I forget. Plus 3. Raz got 8.
Raz doesn't notice anything.
Shepard
It's
does.
It's just a weird chest that's too heavy. Shepard steps back and takes a second look at the chest and realizes it's not a chest at all. It looks like a chest. It's shaped like a chest, but it won't open because it has no lid. It can't be unlocked because it has no lock. The lid, the lock, and all the markings of a chest have been painted on to a block of wood that is cut in the general shape of a chest.
She goes, "Huh."
And in fact, the block of wood appears to be embedded in the floor.
She goes, She attempts to push the chest.
Which direction?
Every single direction. She tries each direction until something happens or nothing happens.
Make a roll.
What am I adding?
Intelligence.
May I ask for a reroll? Because I really don't think at this point a 1 should suffice.
No, you can reroll.
I mean, like, at least...
It's like, alright. Probably nothing.
14. That's more of a roll.
You tinker around with the chest and then finally you shift it and it slides in one direction. There's a grinding sound, slides to one side, and directly behind you, you see a trap door opens in the floor with a set of steps going down. The grinding, whining, creaking sound is much louder down there than it is up here.
They look at each other and they go, we seem to have found the door. Raz is looking down. She
and
goes...
the fact that it's a hidden door means it's not a door that just everybody has access to.
She says, Raz looks at Shepard and she goes, "Before we go down, let's gather the party and let's gather the rest of the Black Cats." Raz is showing a little bit of leadership here because that's a skill she has, apparently. So she's going to start playing into that. She looks down, she goes, "Close it back up, or let's go get everybody else."
Alright, the dragon comes stumbling out of the room that he had been in. He seems a
And
bit
now
worse
there's
for-
more of a fire in him.
He seems a bit worse.
It's
for
a
the
bit
wearer.
more of a fire on
He,
him.
you know, he looks like he's kind of been clawed and chewed on a little bit, but appears as though he really enjoyed it.
I'm over here trying this one. I don't know where he is.
Right, a gammon galls with you. This
What is
door is
Shepard?
also
What are you
unlocked.
doing? You come out, you look around for your friends.
No,
Because
no,
there's
I'm
more
just-
of a fire in him.
This door also is unlocked, and you walk in and see another lush chamber with carpet and thick, comfortable couch.
Oh wait, I'm being dumb.
And you see on that couch are two kittykins, a male and a female. They appear to be talking and sharing a drink. They look and see you and like, well, who are you? You're not supposed to be here. You don't. You see the male kittykin, half of his face is made up with pancake makeup, and the other half appears to have been washed off. And you know, it looks like he's in the process of either unclowning or clowning himself.
Very sorry. I'm trying to find somebody to show off my new act.
Says, you're a new performer? You'd be wanting to see the ringmaster.
That's who I'm trying to find. That's why I came here. I'm sorry to introduce.
And you see the female looks and says, he's not here, is he? The male shrugs and says, I haven't seen him. A couple hours anyway.
I'm so very sorry to intrude. I will leave you be.
Says, oh, we weren't doing anything of any importance. Maybe you'd like to show your act to us.
Sure.
So she does the same act as last time.
And
Well,
With the
dazzle them.
butterflies and then turning them into...
they look at each other. The male says, cute.
Dazzle.
He might like it.
Fine, dazzling. I got a 24.
Okay.
Which is not the age TJ's acting right now.
Yeah.
Toss a coin to your valley of whores.
And
Valley of whores.
Stop. I'm going to take that from you and whack you in the head with
I
it.
think you need to take that away from him.
No. No, mine.
And the male says, cute. He might like that.
Thank you very much.
And they then go back to discussing whatever it was they were discussing.
She closes the door.
And
Very odd.
you see the dragon is back into the center of the chamber. And
Stumbling out.
and you see the others are going over and meeting him and calling your name.
Coming.
Shepard looks and she goes, we seem to have found a staircase downstairs. And you see Raz goes, it's probably best we all go together.
Perfect.
And you go downstairs. Lift off this map.
Okie dokie.
The puppy keeps whining and I can't handle it.
Goodbye, map.
Where do we enter? No, that's not bad.
The puppy's going to a home tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
This is not the puppy's forever home.
And we shouldn't treat him like he is going to be here
She.
forever. She will be here
Right,
forever.
you
Yeah.
find yourselves that this passageway comes down into a hallway. A long hallway. There's a door on one end. The
Trust
other end goes down. It's very dark. There's a single torch at the far
What's
the
with
far
this place
corner.
and trying to make it really dark?
Light.
There's a torch at the far end of the hallway. And there's one at the door directly behind you, but those appear to be the only sources of light that you can see. There's also a door in the wall of the hallway. So what do you do? Where do you go? Which way do you go?
Wherever you guys want. I'm so sad. Puppy's still whining, you guys.
Puppy's
I walk
fine.
that direction.
You go to that door?
Alright, this is the hall we're on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a door here, there's a door here, and then there's a curve here.
Yep, and there's a torch at that corner.
I go to this door.
You go to that door. You go to that door. You open it.
Yes.
And you walk in. And as you go in, you see that you are in a very large communal bathroom. There are lockers along the walls. There are 2 large communal showers, one on either side. And then a row of toilets at the far end. And nobody is here. The place is clean. It's not filthy. It looks like it's clean. It's well maintained. There's no foul smells or odors. Nothing on the floor. Everything appears to be clean and well maintained, but there's no one here.
Shepard looks around and she goes, "Huh, they must really care about this place." And Raz goes, "This is a trap. No shithole is this clean." I mean, look at this. There's not even a stain in the urinals.
Gavin Gall says, "Well, maybe this is where the performers come and freshen themselves up. They like a clean place to bathe and to do their business." Says you can't fault them for that.
Possibly.
True.
Other than that, there doesn't appear to be much of anything in this room.
There's 2 doors on the other end, though, right?
I believe so.
A door here and a door here.
Yes, there are doors there.
I just realized.
Both of those doors are locked.
Do I want to rip it off?
You have a person that can lockpick.
You turn and say it's locked, and you naturally say, "I can lockpick that."
We
did it.
There are, you see there is something written on each of those doors.
What does it say?
You can't. Oh, it appears to be in some sort of a runish language.
Shepard looks at it. Does it look like it's magic language, or is it just a language?
Does she know languages?
Let's find out. This is Hero Builder. Not a bad roll. 17 plus, I guess that would be her intelligence.
And
Shepard looks at it, and she gets an 18 in total.
it is the language of the Gabion Coven. Another coven in the in Nith, but not your coven. There are several of them. You're not really familiar with this one, but you do know enough. You do know enough about the language to know that the what's written on each door says no. Both say no admittance.
In another language.
Mm-hmm.
She nods and she goes, "If I've got this correct, it says no admittance to both. On both."
Oh.
And directly below where it says no admittance, you see it says engineers use only.
Engineers use only. Raz goes, "Well, thankfully we're not engineers. Can you open the door, please?"
Yeah, I guess I can. No, I guess I can't. I rolled a 12.
She rolled a 12.
You don't door unlock.
Yeah.
It rattles. It doesn't open. Again, Gall says they're probably storage closets.
Possibly.
I got a 21 to rend a door.
The dragon tears one of the doors off its hinges.
Just walks up, claws.
The door he's standing in front of.
Yes.
And you see a fairly large, mostly empty chamber in front of you. There are a series of pipes at the far end of the chamber, and directly next to the there are a few knobs.
Raz,
And you can hear the sound of steam running through the pipes.
Raz looks at the pipes, looks at you.
Other than
looks
that,
at the
there's
pipes.
nothing in the room interesting.
She goes, "I kind of wanted not to destroy the place."
I just put the door back.
Puts it back. It falls. Picks it up. Puts it back.
Maybe I rendered it a little bit too well.
Possibly.
And do you go tear the other door off its hinges too?
Raz looks at you and she
I'm
goes,
gonna lockpick it.
let the other one do.
Oh, I did a bit better. That is an 18.
And you get this door open, and you see another chamber with pipes. There are more pipes in this one, more tightly woven together. You can hear steam moving through them. And in the center of this chamber, there is a bank of switches and gauges and knobs.
Are these doors? They look like your doors.
Yes, they are doors.
I found doors.
Oh boy!
And these doors that you see look very much like the door that you just picked through. And you would guess that they probably have the same thing written on the other sides of them that this one had. And I need another water. Thirsty tonight.
Would you like some real water? I know carbonated water doesn't really have enough water in their bottle
This is fine.
because of the bubbles.
Try a different one. I like this part.
Intermission!
This chair's got a broken arm.
Yep.
Is
I
it,
tried
did you
to
fully
fix
break it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's off again, but it.
And it's off again. I don't know if it's fully broken or just
Oh.
come loose.
Oh, did he just lift it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. That chair really needs to be fixed.
Mm.
We tried fixing
It's
it.
alright. Alright, do you go through one of these doors?
Yeah. I'm gonna go through.
This
Alright, you go through that one.
Is anybody coming with me?
I will.
Yeah, we're coming with you.
The door is not locked. At least not from this side.
The Scarecrow is continually asking why. Because people need a place to relieve themselves. Why? Because unlike you, some people need to take a crap. Why? Because they eat. Why? Because they need to live. Why? Because we already went over this. Do you like not being alive? What's being alive? I don't know. You're annoying.
Better than the other talking skull that
Right,
some
you-
bird tried to sell us.
Alright, you open that. And you come out and you come into another hall. This is a tight hallway, small hallway.
Will I fit?
With difficulty.
Oh boy.
There is a single golem guard standing in here.
A golem guard, which means there's a pawn on him.
You don't see a pawn on it. You just see a golem guard standing.
Does it take notice?
Do you want to take this?
Who, me?
You want to go through?
Sure.
Okay.
I go through the door.
The grinding and squeaking is very loud in this hallway.
Does the guard react to him?
It does not.
We see Raz jump on to your shoulder, then jump onto his shoulder, and then jump onto the golem.
And there is no pawn occupying the golem. And it is currently inactive.
She goes, huh.
You're not sure where the pawn who operates this golem is gone to, but they are not currently present.
Can
She
we-
rummages through the pawn's stuff, because these things are homes, technically, to pawns. So she's just going to raid the home.
There's not a lot here. There are a few sets of dirty clothes
Mm-hmm.
and some trash, mostly food wrappers and stuff, but not a lot else.
She goes, huh. She jumps back over to the Scarecrow, and she goes, I wonder where the pawn is.
Hey, attempt to open the door that's right there.
Shepard looks at Raz. She goes, why aren't you going to try running it? Oh, that'd be like stealing a man's shoes.
And
It says the one
The
that
dragon goes through a door?
literally stole,
Yeah, I'm gonna open
sold
or
all of her
go
shoes
through
for
this door if I
gambling.
can. If it's not.
No, she also stole Nithian soldiers' shoes. But like to another pawn, she won't steal pawn's shoes. It's like, no, that's like stealing a person's shoes. You just don't do that. You literally stole Nithian's shoes. No, that was important because he didn't have shoes. But I have him, so I don't need shoes. She looks down her bare feet and then like her tunic, and she looks and she goes, in fact, I don't really need anything apparently. She goes, I never realized how wonderful that breeze is.
The dragon walks into a large chamber, and you see here is where all the noise is coming from. You see the pillar descends down through the ceiling here, and into a ceiling. There are a series of monumental grinding gears, which are turning the mechanism which turns the pillar, which rotates the stages up above.
And there's people?
And there are 4 golem guards standing here. All of them are occupied by pawns.
Interesting.
Do they even look at me?
They do look at you. And you see one of them says, "Who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
Looking for the
This
ringmaster?
area is off limits."
Kind of looking for the ringmaster? We've
He
Kinda
says,
got lost there?
you says you have an appointment with the ringmaster?
No, we want to make an appointment. sorry, you're up front. This is your
whack whack.
One of the golems is slightly larger than all of the others, and where 3 of them have the same kind of stars and stripes and whorls and polka dots colors that all the others you've seen had, the slightly larger one is entirely black and doesn't seem to have any sort of color to it whatsoever, except for the eyes, which glow green.
I'm only going to make a comment. My character doesn't say this, but my guess is a roadie.
It's possible that could be a roadie or the ringmaster himself.
For those who don't know what a roadie is, can Tim explain what a roadie is? Yes.
A roadie for a band?
Basically, the guy who works in the back.
Yeah, and makes
Unseen.
everything sound so good.
Sounds so good, works on it, makes sure the performance goes off without a hitch. So my guess is he's painted all black, so he doesn't stand out and is able to do his job. That's my guess.
He is also slightly larger than the others. The golem is. And you see where the 3 golems you see with him, all of them are wielding swords.
Mm-hmm.
This one has there's a huge hammer on its shoulder. And it's the black one that is addressing you and says you need an appointment to see the ringmaster. He's busy. Says you can't just walk in on a man when he's busy.
This is your go now.
Yep.
We've all had our time.
Crap.
It's now your time to roleplay.
Or just straight up attack.
It's totally up to you. It's your character. It's whatever your character thinks is good. My character is in the back. I've had enough roleplay for tonight at the moment. Okay, that's a lie. I'd love to roleplay this moment, but this is your turn. Because you should always make sure
What does
everyone
the
has
dragon do? What does the dragon say? Does the dragon run away?
He starts talking up the dragoness upstairs. Oh yeah, you know what? I just visited that girl.
Does the dragon grab one of your characters and shove them in front of him so that he doesn't have to talk, have to deal with this?
reaches back, picks up Kitty
Grabs
Kid.
Kitty Kid.
Yeah.
Puts it in front.
Places her in front of him.
You
go
have many
talk to
options.
him. You go talk to him. It's your play. What does the dragon do? What does he say?
Fuck. We've been watching The Witcher on Netflix.
I finished it in 2 days.
Oh, it's so good. It's such a good show. I just love The Witcher. His key phrase. Fuck.
And it makes it just so much better.
And that is indeed what I do.
Fuck.
Close the door.
He closes the door.
Fuck. Close the door.
You see the dragon backs out, closes the door with a single fuck. Gammon says, "What's wrong? What's in there?"
Give Kevin a moment.
Pawns.
And then you saw Gammon Gall. You see he gulps and goes, "Pawns."
Seems to be a lot of those.
He goes, "There's too many of them around this place."
Raz goes, "I got this." Scooches past, opens the door, and she goes, "Apparently my hello everybody."
Hello, hi.
The three guards seem to have, when you come through, they'd gone back to what they were doing, which seemed to be tending the gears. Then they all spin around when you come through saying that, and one of them says, "Another one."
She goes, "Ah, yes, looking for the ringmaster."
The large, dark-colored one with the greenish eyes shakes its head and says, "Just like I told your dragon friend, you gotta have an appointment to see the ringmaster, especially when he's busy."
She goes, "Excellent. Yes, the appointment is now, and I want to see him now."
And you see the one with the black says, "No, you haven't got an appointment. If you did, I'd know about it."
She goes, "Ah, so you're the secretary."
And he says, "What's your name?"
She goes, "My name is," and she quickly thinks. She turns around and points at the back of her cape. She goes, "The amazing shark butter."
And the three look at her and go, "Shark butter?"
She goes, "Watch this!" And she goes, "Pocketpawn!" And she points at the big black guy.
And is she with the scarecrow?
She's on top of the scarecrow.
The scarecrow throws you at the black guy, at the black painted golem.
And she's acrobatics to land with tremendous zeal on top of its head. Wow, I'm actually rolling really good on acrobatics tonight.
It just means that you're going to be rolling really crummy when we have a battle.
Unless you can talk your way out of another battle.
That's 19 for acrobatics.
We talked your way out of the first battle.
She lands
For
with
two.
grace on top of... She rolls a 19. She lands on top with grace on top of his head, and she goes, "Ta-da!" She, grabs and she, spins, and she lands, and it's a perfect throw.
The one next to him goes, "Wow, that was really cool." The one down there next to him is the same way. The one on the other side didn't notice it. And the one that you did the flourishing for claps his hands slowly and methodically and goes, "Wow, now I've seen everything. A pawn that can jump and tumble. None of those in this town. Never have been." Very sarcastically.
She goes, "Ah, but I bring my entourage. You already know fuckboy!" And she points out at the dragon who's just in the door like this.
Does the dragon enter?
He is shy!
He's shy.
No.
But then there is Glitter Girl!
Excuse you?
She's like, "Get out of here!"
She walks in.
The scarecrow goes, "Why?"
And you see
Glitter girl?
the one standing on the other side of the gears then turns out to look and goes, "How many of these fuckers are there?"
She
What?
goes, "There's lots of them!" Hence why we really need the
We have a
appointment.
whole clown car.
You do your dazzle,
Yeah, I do my dazzle again.
which is honestly the only thing.
Which
Oh,
is
this
now
doesn't
a
fit.
natural 20, which means my list is now full of skills.
You're a skillful thief.
I'm skillful.
Did you get it?
Did you get one stuck in there?
I got my D3 stuck. There we go.
Did you get the pen stuck?
No.
He's worse than a little kid.
I dazzle with a natural 20.
But you all love me.
No.
Okay.
I love you.
I question your sanity.
Yeah, I question it too.
Would someone please take that from him?
I'll put it over here. I'll get out
I
when I
dazzle
move.
with a natural 20.
And all three of them are watching your dazzling.
4?
Yeah, all four of them. And then you hear a bang on the wall behind them. And you see the pawns are like, oh, too much noise.
How is that too much noise?
They were all laughing.
They loved it.
They enjoyed it.
He goes, while I may not be the best one, my associate is probably the best out of them all, except for...
And
I'm not saying your name again.
The big black one says, "You're still going to have an appointment, good as you are, but I do have to say, you might impress him."
She goes, why can't we see him right now? Like, what's the consequences of just going through the door? And she points at the wall. She goes, because I'm guessing he's on the other side.
And I say, yeah, he's busy. He didn't want to be disturbed.
She goes,
that's what he's told everybody here. He's busy. He's not to be disturbed. Says, I don't know what he's busy with. This is a business.
Bijou looks up with him at a 22 in Kittykin begging eyes. She goes,
Please let us through. Pretty please.
And the big one says, he's not to be disturbed. You didn't see us. We don't know who you are. We didn't see you. And all four of them go back to working on the gears.
yes.
we continue on.
Just the begging kitty eyes wins every time.
Kevin's back there like, damn, they're talking their way past every potential battle we have.
But sometimes
I'm setting up combat encounters. I can't help it. You're talking your way through them.
and you know what? That's what heroes do. Not really. That's how we're doing it. That's how our characters would act. Probably if the ringmaster is not cooperative, we'll probably kick his.
Well.
What the? Is there a gremlin over there or something?
I guess so.
I'm a chocolate gremlin. Can't fool me.
Alright. So the only door you see is here.
That's not true. You see several doors right there, and there, and
That's
there,
right, yeah, well.
and there, and here.
That's not a door.
That's not a door?
No,
okay.
that's not a door.
It
I'm gonna go
looks
through
like
that door.
palm-sized door.
What?
Raz looks at the one that
Yeah, that is a door though. You're right. That's not a door though. That is something else.
okay.
She looks at the pawn in the black golem, and she says, "Where's the quickest way there?"
And he says, "I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you."
She goes, but
He says, "Please be on your way quickly. This wasn't my fault."
She goes, Raz points a finger and she goes, but if we were not people who were not supposed to be here, and she starts like rambling on a little bit, but ultimately she's basically in a roundabout way of saying, where is the way to go, without like having him say directly there. I guess, hold on, you know what, I'm going to call it politician speak. Politician speak to get him to tell me where to go. Double talk, that's what I should be calling it. Double talk. Not bad. 21.
Trying to get him to tell you. He's already told you he's washed his hands of you.
Right, but she's basically saying in a politician way of, this will not come back to haunt you, if, like, in a double talking kind of way of like, no, of course not. We're not dumping pollution into the river. We swear. That kind of talk. The double talk of, we are totally doing that. But in this case, it's, Yes, you have no right to tell us where we should not go or where we can go. Basically going, where can we go? Basically saying, where can't we go?
And he looks at
Actually, yeah, where can we go and where can't we go?
he looks at the door and the wall behind him, and he points towards it and says, "You can go to hell."
She goes, excellent.
I go through the door.
The dragon just walks over, opens the door.
That door. It's like, excuse me.
We're behind them.
And there's the pond, and there's there, and there's me, and there's this guy staying far away from the pond.
Mm-hmm.
And
But he's got to walk by ponds to get into the door.
Angle.
But they're in golems. If he uses his imagination, he can pretend that they're big dudes and not pawns.
oh,
Just big dudes. They're just big dudes.
Just big dudes. There's no pawns in their heads. They're just big dudes. There are no pawns in their heads. They're just big dudes.
Just imagine them in their underwear. Oh God, they're hot!
So the dragon goes to the door first, and you see a large.
Lucy, I'm hot.
You see a large chamber with a chest in the far corner and 2 large sofas, and sitting on one of those sofas is a clown. The clown has a book in his hand, and he is paging through the book, and he doesn't look up from the book and says, "I was told I was not to be disturbed."
Well, we didn't get that memo. So.
if we didn't get the memo,
Nobody told us you should not be disturbed.
He looks up at you and says, "It appears that there will be one less dragon in sorrow."
We'll see about that.
Raz looks over and she goes, actually, we wanted to show you our act.
Is the dragon the only one in the room?
No, we've entered the room. I don't know if he's stopping us from entering the room.
The dragon was the only one he's seen so far.
I'm in the doorway.
The dragon's in the doorway.
You hear Raz yell over the dragon going, we actually wanted to show you our act.
Right. The clown is initiating combat.
All right.
Roll for initiatives.
Oh boy.
how many initiatives do you want?
We'll go with 5.
Raz got 3. Shepard got 18. Raz got 2. Shepard got 5. Raz got 0. Shepard got 6. Raz got 18.
All right, go through them again. I was writing all the initials.
He's like, I was just.
I'm going to have to
rolling one
re-roll
die.
that. I wasn't really like.
I got the 3 and the 18, the first set of rolls.
All right, I'm just going to re-roll. 2 for Raz. 12 for
You rolled a 0.
Shepard.
You put that 0 somewhere in there.
Okay,
just
that'll
need-
be the next one. Raz got 0 for the third one, and Shepard got a 4 for the third one. 1 for Raz. 20 for Shepard. 14.
Raz is not rolling very well.
14 for Raz.
Told you.
3 for Shepard. This die is just all over the place. It's like a perfectly random die. I really just don't know what's going to come up.
Alright, so I
But
have
it seems to be mostly low.
13, 9, 5, 10, 19.
You have what? 13, 5.
What was that?
Nothing.
No, 13,
I just flipped it.
10, 5, no, 9, 5, 10. Sorry.
Okay, got him.
And 19.
Okay. Dragon.
19, 17, 21, 24, And 18.
Nice.
Stop bothering Jane.
I've been poked in the eye. I've been abused.
Kevin, if you're going to be mean to Jane, go get me and Tim more milk, please.
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk, please.
No.
Please.
No, you get your own chocolate milk.
Please. I just went and got chocolate milk for all three of us.
And Kevin didn't want chocolate milk.
Perhaps this time you should give me milk. And then I might do it next time.
What?
Can you please go do it?
No.
Please. With sugar on top.
Give me that. Give me that. Give me mine.
I hit him in the head.
Alright. The ringmaster initiates combat.
So he gets first.
So he gets first.
Which I actually like that because it's not in the rules that you do it this way. You can actually kind of do combat however you really kind of like want to like do the lineup. But I like how we have this rule of whoever initiates the combat does get top of the round because they are the one that started.
Alright, the clown drops the book on the couch, standing up, draws his lips back, revealing ivory fangs, makes a loud hissing sound, and points at the dragon with his eyes lighting up. What is the dragon's will?
12.
Oh gods.
The dragon has just been dominated.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Well, what is it called with vampires? The
Dominate. It's literally just called dominate.
I thought they had another word for it. Yep, the dragon has just been dominated. And next is the dragon.
Who's behind the dragon?
Who is directly behind the dragon?
Point of the pawns.
Raz and the Scarecrow, because she was shouting over the... As much as I really don't want to say that, it was them.
Right, your action will be directed at Raz and the Scarecrow.
Don't use a power. Don't use a power. Don't use a power.
I can use it. So I can use anything. I just gotta attack them.
Yep, you can do whatever you want. You just gotta be done on them.
Oh no! I'm gonna let the dice roll to see if I use a power or I do a basic attack.
Okay, can you any of your powers go above 46? Because you would insta-kill me.
No.
Okay. Then use a power. It's more fun.
I'm gonna find out.
Okay, we'll let the dice decide.
Evens. I'll attack you with a power.
Oh, mother...
Using a power?
Yep.
Oh, use your power. Make your attack.
Well, put Raz, get the actual things. His tail... We'll probably have to cut that tail off. It's eating too much room on the board.
Isn't there a dragon that my parents gave you, T?
Yes, but it's too big.
No, it should be around
You
the
can't
same
be
size
cutting
as this
Godzilla's tail off.
Alright, I'll look and see how big it is.
guy. We can paint it like Kevin's character should be.
Will a 21 reach your reflex? For Raz?
Everything can reach her reflex. Everything can reach her.
You're ready. Oh, actually, I just realized this might have been bad. I chose. It's a blast 3.
Oh no, it's hitting everyone actually. Actually, no, it does hit everyone.
Draw it on the map. 3, blast 3.
Yeah.
Use this.
I'm not very good at rolling this, so.
I got it.
He
So
said-
you're aiming at him.
I'm at it, yeah, Raz, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it gets everyone.
Including... Or
pawn guard.
or am I excluding the pawn guard?
No, you can hit the pawn guard too.
Oh, okay.
No. Blast is a cone.
Oh, a blast. Sorry.
Yeah.
Burst emanates all around him.
But considering he's 2 size, it starts with a 2 and then goes up, not the 1.
Go away.
What have I
He
done?
just blasted everybody.
What have I done? Oh no! Oh no!
Exactly what your new vampire master has commanded you to do.
How long am I dominated for?
There.
3 rounds.
That's a
You'll
blast.
next round, you'll get to fight it to try to overcome
Right?
it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a saving throw next
No.
round.
You draw it then.
It's a cone.
It is a cone.
So 1, 2, 3. And you do that on the other side. But basically, he just hit the gears as well. The thing holding up the stage. I feel like that should be taken into consideration with this.
Gears are taken into consideration.
And I'm using ice for my element of choice.
Okay.
Wait, what am I? Yeah. What is? I need this.
Oops.
15 points of damage.
15 points?
Yeah, I don't do that much damage at the moment. To whoever hit 15 points of damage
Ow.
of ice.
That's
And you
everyone.
hit everyone. Huh.
Yes.
Oh, even this guy.
Yes. Sorry.
But
Not sorry.
6.
And next is Shepherd.
Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Shepherd's actually going to do something interesting. I'm just quickly doing this.
Marking everybody's damage. Damage.
Yep. So what happens is Shepherd waits, and then she's able to use the scroll. And she pulls out a scroll, and she goes, let's try this one out. And she flips it, it turns green, and for 3 rounds, Raz is the size of a human.
Alright.
It's a scroll of minuscule. Actually, no, technically speaking, she is technically tinier. She is now the size of you. For 3 rounds.
Oh, the kittykin.
Yeah, it goes up 1 size.
Alright. So who is next?
Raz is currently doing this. It's also different! Ah!
Who's next? I'm
You have the
Yeah.
initiative.
Who goes next?
Next is...
I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
The...
I wonder if you know, though.
No, I don't. I'm telling you, I've gotten used to asking you who's next. Because you ran the last one.
Yeah.
You ran the weekend and last weekend. It is the black...
you're busting over the puppy
It
now.
is the black painted golem. He shakes his head and says, I actually like this bunch. They've gone and pissed off the boss. Now we're going to have to kill him. And he...
Wait. Shepherd technically still has a skill action. Can I respond to that comment?
You can. Could be bad, Shepherd.
So it's an 18. Nothing added on. She basically goes, work for, if you like us more than your boss, work for the Black Cats. We pay well.
I'm going to throw this into the trash can. And it's going to fail miserably.
Oh!
It got in.
Barely. It's holding on by a thread.
Yeah, it is.
There we go. So,
And,
my skill was responding with that. So,
and he says, unfortunately, after he kills you, he'll kill us unless we step in.
The thing
I'm not supposed to talk.
And that's his go. He just talks on his go.
Okay.
He did two full talks, so that's all he's gonna do. And
All right. So my skill holded him off of combat.
Him. And the guards are halted as well because he hasn't given them the command to kill you yet. And next is Bijou.
So I'm gonna use a skill.
The dragon is blocking the door too.
Yeah, can't really do anything with the dragon.
And since he's currently an enemy combatant this round, if you try to get past him, he can make an attack of opportunity against you.
If I choose.
And I guess you can roll a dice to see if you choose, but since you're an enemy combatant, go for it. Next round, you'll be able to make a save to try to break the domination.
What do I add for that? Just so I know.
So
What?
What do I add to make the roll for my will save?
Your wisdom.
You add your wisdom. It has to get higher than your current will.
Oh boy. Just gonna.
So I rolled a 26. No,
I think.
27. Sorry, I forgot it's 11, not 10. And I look at the pawn and it said, "Do you really want to hurt us? You could just pretend you weren't here. Pretty please."
Doing the kitty eyes.
Yep.
You know what? I am going to say this. I know I sound like an asshole for saying this, but this is combat that just happened. Our friend just hit us.
I'm terrified. I'm trying to get as far away from combat as possible.
Okay.
Is she moving, trying to get out of the area?
One
as well?
half step back.
And
I'm also cold.
yes, very cold. If the pawn, he's already done everything, so he can't respond. Next is, next round we'll see what the effect of your kitty eyes were. Next is
Raz, who's now the size of a kittykin. She looks at herself. She goes, "That's an odd one." She then looks at the dragon and she goes, "I don't think I want to deal with you right now." And you see her do this. And she goes, "It's kind of weird seeing the world at this height." And she is using her shadow spawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She teleports right next to him. That is one action, and she pulls out her now short sword-sized nail and attacks him.
We forgot to. That's another thing. We forgot the fail wheel.
And we gotta bring it in now.
Of course. I will admit when I am rolling terribly.
Oh, then you've been rolling.
You're rolling really well. Then when the combat starts, here comes the one.
I told you.
Yep.
Don't tell me. Just help me.
And there it is.
Fail wheel.
I want to reroll that because my finger was in it. What did we get?
Uses wrong weapon. Can I ask for a reroll? Because there's no other way I can.
Sure.
There's nothing else I have.
Oh, you know what? The weapon is still a nail.
She throws a nail. She tries to hit him with an axe.
She tries to grab the short sword,
And it's just a
and
nail.
it's this big.
I would say this as just a thing. If that would be, I'm just going to say this. I agree that would be funny, but that means that in every combat, trying to do this, I would have to. It would become a thing where.
It could have been an accident.
Okay, because it was the first time.
First time she's ever tried it.
Okay, it's nail size. She goes, "Ha ha!" Oh no.
And she looked.
This doesn't help me at all.
Who's next?
A gammon Gaul who is trying to find a way to get around that pawn in front of him.
It's a
And
big guy. It's
He is
not
going
fun.
to roll on his flaw. See if he can overcome it. Because he has a lot to overcome now after his last.
Poor guy.
Oh, he rolls extremely well.
Yay!
And he says, "Excuse me," and shoves past the pawn. Overcomes his flaw.
Oops. No. On it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh. Kevin just showed me the score for the Ravens game.
What?
The Ravens got their ass handed to them.
No, they're still going. They still got. It's in the fourth quarter right now, so they still got. They can come back. It's just
From that?
you can come back from that.
How bad is it?
It's 28-6.
Hmm. Now all the football fans at work will be sad.
Seriously.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
they've
I'm
been
not one
a
of them.
winning streak.
Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. I really don't care.
To each their own.
So what does the game got to do?
Gammon Golf pushes past that pawn, and he tries to get past the dragon, who may make an attack of opportunity against him if he chooses.
Evens. Oh boy, I'm attacking again and go.
No, it's just attack of opportunity, so it's just a
Yeah.
regular attack.
Let's go do. Willie. 29.
It's a hit.
For 13 points of damage.
Okay. So he took 15 the last.
I bit him.
Oh no.
Right.
I'm going to be the death of this dude.
Move a Gammon Bagal into the room just past the dragon. Because he went past you. You made your attack of
You
opportunity.
just
That's,
went,
that's his go, and that's top of the round. And the Ringmaster is going.
Alright.
Move the Ringmaster
Jane.
one space towards a Gammon Gaul.
Yoink.
Is he here?
He's right there. Alright, he moves to there.
Oh god.
And
I'm going to say I'm dominating.
he points at Raz.
Oh.
Okay.
What is Raz's fortitude?
Actually, the highest of hers, 14.
14. You are one lucky pawn.
He's looking at the fail wheel.
He was going to blood barrel you.
Oh, gods. So this guy is a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
Vampire.
He's a vampire. Full on.
You'll shoot your eye out.
What was that? You do it to yourself?
You do it to yourself.
He blood barrels himself.
He blood barrels himself.
Actually, for a fun twist, as he does it, the reasoning behind it, because you always have a reasoning, the reasoning behind it is he tries blood barreling a pawn, but she is no longer the size of a pawn, and it backfires.
Yeah.
And he blood barrels himself.
Combat ends. Everybody have a drink.
And this would have been thrown upon little Raz. He did 44 hit points of damage.
Okay, that would have killed me.
He rolled extremely well on his damage. It would have actually killed you, and it actually killed him.
Actually, that would have put me at -10. Exactly at death.
So, combat ends in a very strange fashion.
Not.
That's the second time an enemy has killed themselves by using a big power and rolling a 1. The last
was killed.
in Dollhouse, the big boss used a big power and rolled a 1 and killed himself. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. This has been such an odd campaign. She just looks down. She goes, "What the?"
Are you okay?
It's just a
The
map.
power of the 1.
She just looks at it. And she goes, I think you guys need a new employer.
Bijou all the way back there.
What happened? Are you okay?
She then pops back to pawn size. And she goes, I'm pretty okay. She looks at the dragon. The dragon shakes his eyes. He looks down at the blood barrel.
What happened?
She goes, I think it backfired, whatever he was trying to do.
I mean, sure he's dead.
He had 40 hit points. He did 44 hit points to himself.
Nice.
The blood barrel would have inflicted 5d10. And he did it to himself.
Actually, is it negative 15? Isn't it negative 15, not negative 10?
Negative 20 is what I...
Okay,
the way
negative
I
20.
do it.
That's how we do it.
I do it negative 20.
I would have been really at death's door then.
And he backfired and he blood barreled himself.
That's one way to go.
Raz looks at Shepard and she goes, and she pulls up her nail. She goes, next time, make sure it's the right size. And she goes, oh. You see her take out another one of the minuscule scrolls and she goes, there we go.
It'll be better next time.
There we go.
Is everyone okay?
She's healing up herself.
The
The
and everybody
pawns
around.
walk in.
The pawn guards look and they see what's left of their employer. And they see, how did you do that to him?
Raz just looks at the blood barrel, looks
He
back
goes,
at them.
Ta-da!
She then smiles and then goes, I really think I did not think he expected that. We didn't do anything. He accidentally did that to himself. And Raz explains what happened. He pointed, she felt weird, and then suddenly it resisted and backfired on him. Raz is by far the most odd character in this entire campaign so far. And just hands down, she's got leadership. She's got weird shit going on with her.
Gammon Gall says, we were supposed to ask some questions to this guy.
Oh, well.
I don't think we can talk to that.
Bijou walks over to the chest and tries to unlock it. If it's locked.
It is locked.
Natural 20.
You open it easily.
Yep.
It pops open. And you see inside the chest there are 2 large sacks.
I open them both and shake it.
They clatter.
Clatter.
And they're heavy. You can't lift them both. It takes both hands to lift one.
Shepard walks over and helps you open one of them.
And you pour out 17 Kaijin cubes.
Oh! All mine!
Shepard looks down. She goes, this will serve the black cats well.
Yes.
She opens up the other.
And you pour out 19 Kaijin cubes. He had quite a stash for himself.
Raz looks at the cubes.
You don't get any.
She goes, but if we take some of them to the casino,
No!
we can
No.
get more.
No, that's not how this works. That is how you lose everything.
The blood barrel bubbles.
And remember, you still need to wait a month.
The
before you
blood
can
barrel
gamble
makes
it.
a bubbling sound.
No. What do we do with the
Its clown, a clown nose pops out of it and rolls across the floor.
I knock it over with my tail.
Ew.
It makes a loud, wet splatter sound as it falls over, and then there's a long, loud, hissing gasp kind that sort of comes out of it that ends with like a loud fart noise, and it sort of deflates downwards.
I'm thoroughly disturbed. Hey,
Red button. Even I'm disturbed at this point. Red button.
She walks over to the ponds and asks politely,
have you guys seen any strange object that seems out of this world that you're...
They say, we never entered this room. It was off limits. This was his study.
Okay, thank you.
But they say, one of them says, but if you really want some answers, that book he was looking through. She says that's one of his log books.
Shepard walks over, picks up the book,
Perfect, thank you.
reads it.
There are all manner of entries. It's not a book. It's a book of log. It's a log, truly a log book. He has logged all, and you see the entries. There are various entries. Most of them don't make any sense and don't mean anything to you. But you do find 3 that seem to have some significance. And there are dates attached to them. One of them is a date several weeks ago, and it involves meeting with Red Mother. Discussion, experiment, results is what it says. Then the next one, the date is 3 days ago, and it says alien encountered, Bob acquired. And then you see one that is for a date that is not yet come, about 2 to 3 weeks sometime in the future, and it says final test subject expected. I can't wait.
so I'm gonna roll detect magic to try and find magical items in the area.
Okay.
I got a 15.
You detect magical items in the center of the room, but you don't see anything. But you detect magic from that right in the middle of the room.
So I reach over, paw the area,
You don't see anything.
don't feel anything.
Don't feel anything.
Is what's on the
Shepard.
floor?
Shepard's currently
Carpeted.
talking.
I lift up the carpet.
There's a trap door.
Shepard's talking to the
She
pawns, by the way,
crawls
for
down the-
employment.
She
Okay.
crawls down the door.
You open the door. It opens. It's not locked. It wasn't especially well disguised. And you pop it open, and there is a chest underneath there.
Cool. Opens up the chest.
It is locked.
25. No. Roughly 25.
The chest pops open, and you see inside the chest there are 5 gemstones. 2 of them are bare naked gemstones. Just one is a ruby and one is an emerald. The other 3 have been worked into pieces. One appears to be the centerpiece of a necklace. The other 2 appear to have been made into brooches, and 2 of them are emeralds as well, and one is a blue diamond.
Huh. I pocket the gems.
Are they?
All of them have some sort of magic associated with them.
Are they fairy gems?
They're not fairy gems.
I would know.
Okay. You see Shepard look over your shoulder, and she assesses the gems.
Right.
18.
2 of them are Tengari stones, which would have come from the Blight of Gaul, and they are stones that the Tengari have used.
Tangora.
The Tengora have used over the years to enhance items. And the other 3, you don't know what they are. You've seen Tangora stones before, and you've seen them fashion weapons with notches in them where the stones can be affixed and add extra power to a weapon.
Very interesting.
The other 3, you would guess, may be similar stones, but they are not of Tangora
Make.
And since you come from that part of the world, you're familiar with Nith and Tangora stonework, and these are neither.
She goes, very interesting. I don't know
But
what these 3 are.
The fact that the 3 have been put into a necklace and the brooches, they're probably the same sort of stones, and they have given these items each some sort of an ability.
She points at them and says, I wouldn't put anything on. You never know what things can do.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put him in my pouch for now until we can.
Is anybody watching Raz?
Why?
She's attempting to take a few of the Gaijin cubes.
I've already put them in my bank pouch. At least 19 of them.
There's still 17 left unplaced. Bijou might be trying to watch Raz, but now she no longer sees Raz. Bijou finds that she is no longer in this room.
Oh, cool. Another one.
I'm going to roll a d12 and a d20
After
this.
the vision.
And I'm watching. Attempting to watch.
Bijou is standing in a very large cavern-like chamber. It is dark, but there is light. You can't tell where the light's coming from, what its source is, but it casts very long shadows in the room. You are not alone. Your companions are with you. All of them. All the companions that you've had, including Bugs and including the...
Helena.
Yeah, Helena. And the Gabion farmer and Zoltan and Lily. All are here. And you see all of them are bound up in what appear to be spider webs, cocooned. They are hanging upside down from the ceiling, all with the exception of a gammon gall.
Technically, she would also be seeing the queen as well and everybody she's ever known, right?
No, just the people that you've associated since she's been in the Black Cats.
Okay.
And all except for a gammon gall. He's also cocooned up in spider webs, but he's laying on what appears to be a large flat table. And there's an extremely large Tangora standing over him, also red-skinned, just like a gammon, although this one is much larger with 2 sets of wings and 2 tails. Even though you've never seen him before, you know that this is a gammon's father, Gaul. And he is standing over his son, and he appears to be dancing. And he is dancing in a strange, disjointed way, as though he were a marionette with strings pulling his actions. And you attempt to get Gaul's attention, but he either can't hear you or ignores you. And then at that point, you see an enormous spider crawls up out of the shadows onto a gammon Gaul's face. You draw out your bow quickly and shoot the thing. It splatters and falls off of a gammon. You yell to Gaul again, "Your son's in trouble. You are all in trouble. We need you." Still a gammon Gaul simply continues to dance. Then another spider crawls up out of the shadows, this one much bigger than the first, and you shoot this one as well, and it falls away from a gammon. And again you try to get Gaul's attention, and again he has no reply. And then you see a spider comes up out of the darkness. This one's bigger than you. You fire 2 arrows into it, and it drops away. Still no response from the father. And then you see a colossal shadow of a spider, massively sized, you see its shadow moving into the room. But then the shadow dissipates, and you see a humanoid figure where it had been standing. This figure is tall and thin, and is wearing a black silken gown and a cloak with a hood that covers everything. You can't see any of the figure, but you can tell from its basic shape and the way it moves that it's feminine. And she moves towards you and lifts her head some, and you can see the lower half of a face underneath the hood. Very pale skin and a delicate jawline indicates definitely female. She smiles and you see ivory fangs. She then raises one hand up, with one finger. She looks at you. You can see a glistening underneath the hood, up in the shadow of the hood, of spider-like eyes. Too many eyes. And she puts a finger to her lips and goes, shh. And then you wake up.
Totally freaked out. What was I doing beforehand?
And
Totally lost what I was doing beforehand.
And now Raz can make her roll. Raz was trying to steal from you.
I rolled.
And you were totally freaked out, so she has an edge. The kittiekin comes out of this trance looking terrified.
And I rolled a 19 to be aware of what Raz is doing.
Okay.
Funny, I rolled a 19 as well.
It'll be a matter of dexterity then.
Oh, wait, hold on.
The
I add
dragon
my
saw
dexterity,
you.
don't I?
What?
18. You totally see me. Barely. I rolled an 18 then. I forgot I need to add my dexterity,
Nope,
which is negative.
the drag, you caught her.
You see her attempting to pocket 2 kaijin cubes.
Raz,
She goes,
Put it
just let me
back.
have this!
put it back.
Let me have this!
Raz, put it back.
Scarecrow, he's being mean to me! Why? Because he won't let me have 2 kaijin cubes because I don't have anything else to my name.
Put it back.
She
And I slammed my tail on the ground.
she looks at Gammon Gall and she goes, please just let me have 2 kaijin cubes.
Ah, Gammon Gall's gonna roll his claw.
He's also the pawn is stealing from his kitty kit.
Mm-hmm. He rolled well. He overcomes his flaw again. He's only got 2 more times to do it now.
Yay!
He yanks the pouch up and away from out of the pawn's.
Okay, but she's still holding 2 kaijin cubes. And she goes, please just let me have these 2. I just want 2.
And
I gotta get like better clothing or something. Actually, I kind of like this pouch, but I just need something.
he says, I think the dragon will eat you if you don't give them back.
Kind master. Notice she's not doing this to Shepard because that would be unfair because I'm using Shepard. Shepard's staying out of this. She looks at the kitty kid and she
The
goes.
kittiekin is still looking thoroughly terrified.
She then looks at you and she goes, "Wait, what's wrong?" You see Raz holding 2 kaijin cubes and she's looking at you weirdly and she's going, "Are you okay?"
First off, put those back. Where is my book?
She throws 1 kaijin cube and she goes, "Can I just have 1?"
Put.
She throws it at your head. It nicks off the top of your head. Actually, hold on. Let's roll for that. It goes flying past you. She rolled a 5.
Raz, give me 5 seconds. I need to write something down. And then I will try and get you some new clothes. Just give me a second.
Gammon Gall says, why are you so scared, kitty?
I have had a very traumatizing vision, and I will tell you all about it in just 2 seconds. Let me write it down.
You see Shepard walk in with the pawnstone and she goes, "I have successfully gotten new employees."
Gammon Gall says, more black cats?
Yes.
He says, my uncle will be quite happy about that.
Or do you want me to roll for that?
That's fine.
Roll?
And,
No, it's just fine.
yeah, and Gammon Gall looks around and says, he then looks at the captain of the guards. It seems this place is in need of new management.
Shepard was going, "That's actually what we were just talking about." You see, he agreed that we could have an outpost here, but he never actually gave us a place. So this place would be a nice place to have it. the outpost of the Black Cats. Sideshow.
Gammon Gall says it would. He says a bit creepy. We might have to liven the place up some, but
She goes, we also need to make...
he looks towards the blood barrel and says, make sure we get rid of that.
She nods and she goes, indeed. She looks down at it and she kind of touches it.
The blood barrel?
Yep.
It makes a squelching sound.
She goes...
And sort of belches some sort of foul liquid out at you.
She goes, ugh. Well, that's weird. Why is the kittykин furiously scribbling?
Wait a second. Scribble, scribble.
Not only scribbling, but she's also
Why is
trembling.
Raz pacing back and forth and tossing her arms?
She tried to steal Kaijin cubes.
She looks at Raz, narrows her eyes, and she goes,
I wouldn't mind letting her have some, but I know she's just going to go gamble them.
she nods and she goes, actually, I think... She looks at the scarecrow and she narrows and she goes, you're smarter than you look.
The Scarecrow goes, I am?
Yes. Anytime she attempts to use money, take it away from her. She looks down at Raz. Raz looks up a little pitifully, and she goes,
The
maybe...
Scarecrow says, why?
Because maybe being a pauper would be better lesson for her than being rich.
And the Scarecrow says, what's a pauper?
She goes, someone who only has a nail and a cloak.
And then it looks at Raz and says, that's you!
Raz looks down. She's really... She goes, Shepherd, what do you want? I'll do anything. Shepherd goes, prove to me that you are capable, and not only will we make sure that you get better armor than what you had before, you'll become better than what you are currently. A gambler who cannot even control their habit. Raz looks down, and at this point, she looks defeated. She goes, I could just leave all of you.
Bijou stops scribbling for a second and looks at Raz and she says,
Raz, we're trying to help you. Look at yourself.
She looks down.
The only thing you have are presents from people that care about you.
She goes, all right. Maybe I can turn over a new leaf. I'll try.
What we're going to do to keep you safe from your habit is keep you from money. Just for a little bit. A month. That's not that long.
She's looking down. She's sighing. She goes, well... She looks up at Shepard and she goes, I joined the Black Cats to try to help out and make a little coin. It seems that maybe instead of just doing that, I should try to be more than what I am. She looks at you and she looks at you and she looks at you. She looks at Gammon Gall. She goes, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for me.
Good.
I want to prove to all of you that I deserve those Kaijin cubes in your bag.
And my Kaijin cubes.
She nods and she just kind of like, she walks out the door. And we have a little bit of character development with Raz. She feels defeated. She's not feeling very good about herself.
Everyone make an awareness check.
Including Raz?
Including Raz.
Okay.
I got an 18.
20 not natural for Shepard. And Raz got 15.
I got a 27.
Alright, everyone noticed it then. You hear a loud, gurgling squelch from behind you. Everyone turns and you see that the blood barrel appears to be dissolving into a pool on the floor, and you notice a gaseous cloud floating through the ceiling above you.
Ew.
And then the dissolution ends, and where the blood barrel had been, now there is a dry reddish dust.
That's not normal.
I'm not touching it.
Raz watches it go up, and she goes,
It goes through the ceiling and disappears. Seems to go right through the ceiling, as though it passes through the wood and stone of the ceiling of the building, and is gone.
Shepard's going to make a knowledge magic. 17.
Well, there's definitely something magical here, but since you've never encountered a vampire before, you had no idea you needed to stake it to keep it there. He dissolved and took on gaseous form so that he can reform again somewhere else sometime in the future.
Alright, I'm going to make a slight... Like, I totally understand what you're doing. I will say this, though, to, like, point it out. The idea of where it comes from, blood barreling, is it removes everything that's vital, including, like, thought processes. So he probably wouldn't remember to do that. That part of his brain would be gone.
It would happen automatically, because by a vampire's nature, unless it's staked, it will revert to a gaseous form. Now, he may not remember this combat encounter when he comes back, but the body dissolves, and the spirit of what truly makes the vampire what it is regenerates, unless it's the stake that holds it, that keeps it from...
It becomes a new being altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Alright.
Alright. I can live
He
with
could
that
be
version.
innocent. He doesn't even have to know about the blood.
We don't know how much he'll know.
Yeah.
We don't know how much of it he'll remember. He'll still know he'll still be a vampire. Still know he's a vampire. But he's new to being a vampire, so who knows what sort of vampire he'll be.
So Bijou finally, after talking with Raz, she goes over to Gammon and holds out her little book for him to read, her vision.
And he looks through it and says, "These are visions."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You've seen all of these."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Some of them are goofy. Some of them are terrifying."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "This last one, I was cocooned and my father was dancing."
Mm-hmm.
He shakes his head and says, "It makes no sense to me, but it's scary."
Welcome to my life.
"You have these often?"
Uh-huh.
And then a voice behind you says, "Yeah, if only you'd pay attention to them more often." Says, "But of course you don't, because you were born as a stupid cat instead of a wily, smart rabbit."
I'm rolling quick knowledge on beans. Raz is rolling knowledge of beans, by the way.
Beings.
Does the description of the many-eyed woman spark something that she knows?
Okay.
No, unless Gammon read it out loud, he has no idea.
No, he said cocooned, and did he mention the lady?
He just mentioned his father dancing.
Oh. Does he
I'm
though?
haunted by two nightmares. My visions and the ghost of this fairy gem.
You are haunted by your visions, and then you are blessed by the presence of the most incredible and amazing bunny rabbit to ever walk the earth. It's just unfortunate that you have never placed my gem back where it belongs.
Where
in my chest.
You are gone.
Says, "I am not gone.
Dead.
I'm not dead. I'm right here."
Do you see the crack on this gem?
That's ignorant. I
Says-
really did.
He points to himself and says, "If you would just give it back to me." He says, "No, you have to give it to me. You have to put it in my chest." And he sticks his chest out. He disappears with a puff, and the gem falls to the floor. And Gammon-Gall looks at you and says, "What did you do that for?"
Like I said, I'm haunted with a ghost.
A ghost.
Yep. Picks up the gem.
The gem was broken. He was in combat, and it broke. And he had promised his soul to my family. And when I went to Zell, I was gifted him because he had to fulfill this promise before he can move on. And he believes that if I put his gem back in his ghostly body, he will return.
I don't believe I know. You stole my gem. You killed me, stole my gem. That's why I'm haunting you. And you refuse to give it back.
He died about 10 years before I was even born, and he blames me. I love him. He's really quite kind, but
Shepherd
He's
asks,
also a
also
pain in the butt.
He's also extremely cuddly because he's just as soft as he looks.
Shepherd
He's
asks for the
also a
book.
pain in the tail.
Shepherd does what?
Asks for the
my
book.
visions book.
And Gammon-Gall looks at Bijou before handing it to her.
My team should know.
And he hands it to her.
She reads the last bit out loud, and she goes, "Woman, many-eyed,
Spiders.
Spider-Woman."
And spiders. Lots of spiders are in the vision.
Can Raz do that roll now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that no, it's not a natural 20.
It's not a natural 20, but it's a 20. Has she heard of this species before?
Legends.
Legends?
Legends.
Raz holds up a finger. She goes, "Actually, I think I've heard of that kind of species before in the Fifth Realm."
Legends, though. You don't
Legend?
know. No proof that they actually
There's no
exist.
proof. There's no
What
proof.
is-
Mostly dwarven legends.
See, I've been... The thing about Raz is she's been everywhere.
Mm.
She holds up a finger. She goes,
Mostly dwarven legends. The dwarven legends called them the gangrel.
I will have to. We'll have to find a dwarf to give more details.
And she starts scribbling like the drawing of the. She any time when she has a really big vision that she seems is important with details, she draws an image of it. So she draws her best and draws an image of the Spider Queen. Is
Although
what
she
she's
did-
calling her.
Although you didn't really... Oh, you just saw the glimmer of the eyes. You
Yeah.
couldn't count them, and you didn't see the rest of the face.
But she does the best she
Mhm.
can to draw up her vision.
But the eyes definitely looked spidery, and there were definitely more than two of them.
I live waking nightmares. Yay me. They could come true.
And this is where I'm going to draw to a close with a cutscene.
"I love cutscenes."
The cutscene, as promised, we see Zoltan Ironspine
And I got a cutscene after this for the next
standing
episode.
in front of Butters' counter. And we see Butters looks up and says, "It's about time you made your way in here. Sure took you long enough." And Zoltan says, "Do I know you?" "Do you know me? Of course you know me. It's Butters, Waldo Butters." And then Zoltan says, "I've dreamt of you. I've dreamt of you. You've been in my dreams when I'm a conquering warrior." And Butters says, "Your dreams?" He says, "You still, well, you're not quite as big as I remember, but, I mean, you're still pretty warriorish." She says, "So what are you?" He says, "I'm a blacksmith." Butters begins rolling around behind the counter laughing and says, "Oh my, how the mighty have fallen." He says, "Do you remember this?" And he takes Mongo off the wall and he says, "That's from my dream. Am I dreaming right now? Is that what this is? I'm dreaming?" And Butters says, "No, I'm afraid it's not a dream." I'm afraid none of them are dreams. Somehow you are here in some new form. You have gone through whatever it is that we go through when a universe changes over. At least that's the way I've kind of figured it. Our universe changed over into this universe, and everything that was became what is now here, except for you and me. Well, me, because I was trapped in here, and you, I don't know why you, but you stayed enough of you that you can remember what you did before. So maybe with this, he holds out Mongo, you can, start doing some of what you did before and be that great conquering hero again. Says these people just might need it. And Zoltan Ironspine takes the wrench and says, so what exactly is it? He says, what do you mean what is it? It's Mongo. He says, well, what's a Mongo? He says, it's your giant mech wrench. He says, what's a mech wrench? And he says, that's right. They don't have mechs here, and they don't need mech wrenches. Well, they don't have mechs yet. You might invent the first one. He says, just hang on to it. I got a feeling that you'll grow into it. And that's where our cutscene ends.
I'm surprised he's not asking about Lily.
Hmm.
Butters doesn't care.
Butters doesn't care, but Lily was more trouble than she was worth to Butters. She would tell Butters that he was wrong and what he was doing is bad, and steer Clamp away from what Butters wanted him to do.
And we open up the next cutscene, the one for the next, because I'm running the next three.
Mm-hmm.
We open up the cutscene with two cutscenes. First cutscene is a really large red-looking dragon nodding. No, wait. No. We see Bugs walking with Tiggs down the road, talking about what they have seen, what they have learned, that they have missed the delivery boy. And they go, and Bugs is saying to Tiggs, I think it might be a good idea for you to head back and stay with the group. I know they're going to be going to the Fourth Realm in a few days.
Tig says, I want to be there for that.
He goes, if I'm going to head west back to Nith. I'll be back probably when you re-arrive here in the Fifth Realm. I should be back by then if I travel fast. I'm going to find out what the orb is.
He says, what orb? This Bob thing?
Well, if this Bob thing was sent to the orb, and the orb is the compound of the Blood Mother, and we've been seeing nothing good of the Blood Mother. I'm going to go scout out, and I'll come back if I need you. Otherwise, it might be up to the big boys to handle it for now. He goes, the Black Cats have a stronger presence, but unless they're busy, I'll come, and if they're busy, I'll come back and have to get you guys to help me deal with the orb if it's trouble.
I'll be ready. I'll make sure they are too.
He goes, excellent. And he heads off toward westward as Tiggs turns around back to Sorrow.
And that was...
One last cutscene.
Oh, okay.
I know. Hey, I got cutscenes. I got to set up the next three.
I thought you said a cutscene.
I said two.
Oh, okay.
I said a cutscene, then I said, okay, I got two cutscenes. The second cutscene relates to the next episode. We see a swamp doused in fog, and what appears to be a woman in a brown hooded robe looking at the fog and cocking her head very bird-like. We only see the back of her. And you see her go, very strange. The chained one did not foresee this. And that's where we end it.
And that is our episode for today, Ringmaster.
We hope you enjoyed it. And if you are 12 years or younger,
Why? Are you
I'm
still
very
watching?
disappointed in you. Especially you, Billy. You were supposed to be in bed by now. Because you're not supposed to be on here at all. Because YouTube has a very, very strict, you can only be 13 years or older to be on this platform. I'm watching you,
And
Billy.
it's way past your bedtime
Bedtime.
at 8 o'clock.